Now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Reading aloud to children sharpens their listening skills, expands their vocabularies, and nurtures a lifelong love of reading. That's why Reading is Fundamental, the nation's leading children's literacy nonprofit, offers free monthly read-alouds by popular authors through its Rally to Read program. Visit rallytoread.org to watch the read-alouds and discover exciting reading activities for school and home. Visit rallytoread.org today.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
When I met both of them, it was like my missing pieces were found. Like it was just like an instant, these are my kids. If you're considering adopting a teen, just do it. Kids need families. I don't care the age, everybody deserves a family.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat. Today is Juneteenth, a day commemorating when the very last enslaved black people were freed in Texas in 1865. While many in the black community have acknowledged Juneteenth for some time, it's only recently become a federal holiday. It was signed into law by President Joe Biden in 2021, and since then, more and more Americans are learning about the day and why it matters.
A couple of years ago, there were millions of people in our country that didn't even know Juneteenth existed. So today it's becoming a national conversation, and the recognition of the significance of Juneteenth, I think in itself is progress.
That's Cynthia Day. She's president and CEO of Citizens Trust Bank. She told Bloomberg that Juneteenth is both a time to reflect on black history, as well as look ahead to what can make for a better and more diverse future.
She continuously reminds us to press for economic parity and financial well-being.
I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Pros, save more on what you need to get the job done right. Right now at Lowe's. Get 15% off select custom entry and interior doors. Plus, save $80 on the DeWalt 20-volt Max 2-tool combo kit. Now just $169. And at the Lowe's Pro Desk, bring us your materials list and get a quote in minutes. Handwritten, a photo, or even a sticky note is all you need. Keep your jobs moving faster and on budget at Lowe's. Valid through 7/8 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
You're listening to Milwaukee Black Talk on 101.7 FM.
The Truth.
And 1510 AM. W269DL. Milwaukee. A Milwaukee Black media company.
He steps to the mic with a boom ping ping. Wisdom sharper than a beast's fierce sting. Words like fireflies that light the night. He turns the dark into blazing bright. Boom ping ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom ping ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, oh the airwaves king. Shake the ground, unveils the truth where lies abound. Politics, justice, social streams. He molds the chaos into dreams. No silence here, just the sound of change. Boom, ping, ping, rearrange. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king or the airwaves king. Through the static, through the noise, he amplifies the people's voice. Boom, ping, ping, Like a heartbeat's call, he's got the wisdom to break down walls. Yeah.
Good morning. Welcome to the program. Today is Friday, June 26th, 2026. If you live long enough, you will see things come full circle. You know, the old adage, history repeats itself, especially for those who do not study it. I'm seeing a bunch of these full circle moments. This is not what, your elders tell you that maturing is going to be like. You start to see the same lyrics to songs that were made a long time ago, and then there's a reinterpretation, and maybe that goes for music too. This analogy can be used for, because there are songs that maybe came out 40, 50, 60, 70 years ago, and those songs can get remade for a newer, younger generation, and this newer, younger generation that is listening to this music may have no idea that that song is a remake, probably from Motown back 60 plus years ago. Well, social themes can operate the exact same way. There may have been a series of issues and problems and crimes many, many years ago, and then time goes on and maybe there's some improvements, but then you can have these full circle moments. I think the city of Milwaukee is also like that, but it gets even more specific. And I do want to give a shout out to the morning show, even though they stole some of my thunder with one of their stories. But if there is something that is taking place in this city and it's making noise and waves and garnering attention, expect us on our different respective shows here on 1017 The Truth to talk about the same stories, but give our different perspectives on them. So these full circle moments that we have in the city of Milwaukee, and we can refer to something like, deindustrialization, where there was a lot of factory jobs here, so many, in fact, and such a huge demand for labor. And it wasn't even necessarily skilled labor. Back, in the 50s and the 1960s, you could get the job and they would train you on the job. Now, to get a job that would pay a comparable income and give you a fairly decent lifestyle, you've got to get some kind of specialized training and education, which I suppose that would be expected. The problem is there was also a period of time when you can get that same kind of specialized training and education right in the public school that you attended. So when you graduated from high school, you were work ready, or at least more work ready then than you are now. If you have a high school diploma, and a lot of the young people have just graduated from high school, congratulations to the grads and to the parents that never thought their children or grandchildren would walk across that stage. It really is a good feeling. But I legitimately don't know, and I guess I could look it up, but it might be a fool's errand to do so. You can't feed a family or even think about starting a family with just a high school diploma, unless you're starting off in life with some pretty major advantages like a trust fund or a whole bunch of money that you saved up. But some time ago, you could actually, in fact, get a decent job with just a high school diploma. And so we have so many people in the city that were dependent upon the manufacturing and the production and the assembly lines that we had in this city. And then that stuff went away in favor of cheaper labor, most likely. And then crime set in. 1970s crime ticked up all over the country. In fact, I would say the crime really hampered Jimmy Carter's only term in his presidency, because you had double-digit inflation and unemployment was going through the roof. So a whole bunch of things plagued his term. And then, of course, you have the crack epidemic, which Now that I think about it, because I was alive for the crack epidemic, I was around. I was young when it started. I was beginning to come of age when we were considering remedies for it in the 1994 crime bill. I was 19 years old when that bill was signed into law. So I saw the impacts of it. I think we blow it out of proportion. In fact, I know that we blow it out of proportion because we want to attribute all of the social problems that we have. So, it was a crack epidemic and it was mass incarceration. It didn't have the impact that you think. What we oftentimes do is we diminish the importance of people's personal responsibility. And sometimes people just make really bad choices. And if you make bad choices and you have children in a developmental environment where the adults are making bad choices, the children are going to pick up on those bad choices as well and probably be less than productive adults. You can't blame crack and mass incarceration on that. But I think that when we wax nostalgic about mass incarceration, because black people want a mass incarceration, I would argue that we still do. If you work really, really hard and you're dedicated to being a good person and a good citizen, you don't want anybody of any race or any ethnicity interfering with that. And if they are interfering with that, we want those people to pay some kind of price in hopes that they learn their lesson and then they can come back to regular society and hopefully be productive. We do have a question on the YouTube poll. I'm going to get to the details of the story behind the prompting for the question on the YouTube poll. I'm curious if you guys think that judges are being too lenient on reckless driving cases, and there's a story that appears in local news that I want to touch on, but I want to get your opinion first because we hear about a lot of reckless driving. In fact, it's such a problem that we have really redesigned and re-engineered a lot of streets in the city of Milwaukee, sometimes to a point where I believe it's counterproductive, but we had to do something about it. But the question is, are judges, when you get sentenced, I know they can tow your cars, they have a little bit more, a bigger toolbox of law enforcement options when you get caught recklessly driving, but are the judges too lenient? So that's our YouTube poll question for the day. Yes or no, do you think these judges are too lenient on reckless driving? But let me get back to these full circle moments. And now we're witnessing another increase and a spike in crime. And I wonder, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, will people look at these current spikes in crime and the shootings and all the disorderly behavior that we see in our entertainment districts, the Brady Street district in particular? That's where the morning show stole my thunder a little bit, talking about yet another shooting in the Brady Street area. Are we going to wax nostalgic 20 or 30 years from now? Because this crime increase that we are going through right now, it's pretty significant. It is changing people's behaviors. It's changing people's attitudes. I think we are much quicker to stereotype the people that live in the areas where the crime is taking place. Instead of also looking at neighborhood residents as victims, we almost look at them like they're perpetrators. Because if you hear of the neighborhood and if you know the cross streets of a particular part of the city where a shooting took place or a car theft or a robbery took place, you begin to think that that's just a bad neighborhood. The whole neighborhood is bad. No, it isn't. We got to stop doing that. But I wonder, when we analyze this current crime trend that we were in, which, let me be clear, the gubernatorial candidates running right now in Wisconsin, they don't want to touch it. They're not saying anything about it. Problematic, because that means if what I believe is an increase in violent crime in the city of Milwaukee, and some of it is just a natural spike because of summer, but it was murders this winter. Usually the bullets don't fly as fast and far when it's cold outside. There was homicides consistently, even in the cold weather months, because we are in an uptick when it comes to crime and criminal behavior. But I wonder in the future, are they going to say, oh, the pandemic really did a number on those people back in the 2000s and the 20s? Just like we look back at the crack epidemic and we blame everything. All the crime, all the incarceration. Oh, it was the crack. Newsflash. There weren't that many people smoking crack. When some of you that weren't around for that era, when you hear about people talk about, oh, the crack epidemic and mass incarceration and all of the things, do you guys think that people were just walking around smoking crack, just like on the sidewalk, at the bus stops, taking their kids to school, family reunions and picnics at the park? People were just smoking crack. It wasn't that common. It was like 4 people behind a Super America. And then if you happen to walk behind the Super America, they would scatter. They would run. The crackheads are very fast. They would just take off. It wasn't more people, I would say, are smoking very potent marijuana now than ever smoked crack back then. And both are very readily available. So I'm just wondering if we're going to, when we have another full circle moment, when those of you who might be on the younger side, maybe some of you are in your 20s or in your 30s or in your 40s that are around right now, in a couple of decades where you look back on this particular crime spike and say, wow, it was the pandemic that screwed everything up. And maybe, who knows, maybe it was the pandemic that led to this current spike in crime. Because I do know that a lot of habits changed and some bad habits were formed. And there were a lot of unsupervised youth, because statistically, working class folk, poor folk, black folk had jobs that they could not do remotely. Now, remember, the schools were closed for a really long time. MPS wanted to stay closed forever. And I bet if the teachers union got their way, they still would be teaching virtual because they didn't want to deal with your kids in the classroom. But in that amount of time, parents, especially black parents, had to go to work in a pandemic because they didn't have jobs that could be done remotely. Now, some did, a lot did not. And their children oftentimes were unsupervised or were left under the auspices of maybe older teenage siblings. Terrible idea. And it led to some bad habits. And I'm trying to dissect and figure out all the different pieces and being specific in what leads to these spikes in crime. Let's table that for a second and go back to the shooting that took place overnight on Brady Street. I live in a Central City, North Side neighborhood, and I have for quite a while. And I can say honestly and unequivocally, so I have one of those neighborhoods where you would expect stuff to happen. Surprisingly, nothing has happened. I even hear less gunshots. But then this time of year, you don't know if they're gunshots or fireworks. But there have been years in which there's like a symphony, a cacophony, if you will, of rapid gunfire that you hear off in the distance. It would be pretty consistent during the summer. I hear a lot less of it. And in the neighborhood that I live in, I would say it's safe. There have been more shootings, more fights, and quite honestly, more homicides in and around the Brady Street neighborhood than there have been in my North Side Central City neighborhood that most people would be told to avoid. But I'm not blaming the people that you think that I'm blaming. I'm going to give you this full circle moment because what I can recall from my youth many, many years ago, like I said earlier, if you live long enough, all this stuff starts to repeat. Brady Street was a dump. It was crime infested. And this is long before black people were hanging out on Brady Street. So here's what I'm going to do, because I want you guys to have a deeper understanding of this full circle moment and the crime that we are seeing on Brady Street. The same thing was happening a generation ago, because Brady Street, believe it or not, I know this is hard for some people to understand, was the hood. It was full of junkies. It was disgusting. They even had to cancel the Brady Street Festival, which has been going on since the 70s. They canceled it in the early 1980s because of crime. And guess what? It wasn't black people. So in my lifetime, I have seen Brady Street go from dump to the city of Milwaukee invests a whole bunch of money and they bring in businesses and they create business improvement districts. And I want you to be aware of that, because any neighborhood in the city of Milwaukee can get the kind of investment that Brady Street got and turn it into a flourishing entertainment district where the housing values are going up and people are moving in. And you have to wonder why the city of Milwaukee doesn't use that same proven, tried and true strategy in other parts of the city. But I'm going to give you the full circle moment, because the Brady Street that I remember, you stayed away from because it was junkies and heroin needles were in the gutter. And yes, that Walgreens was a problem back then like it is right now. We're going to talk about the full circle moment and hell, anything else you want to talk about today on a Friday edition of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, exclusively on 101.7 FM. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The Homer Blow Foundation, Inc., nonprofit 501c3, and our presenting sponsor, Beta Philanthropies, Inc., invites you to the 32nd annual Homer Blow birthday party for the kids on Saturday, June 27th from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. for kids ages 2 to 13 years old at the Fitzsimmons Boys and Girls Club and Metcalf School, located at 3400 West North Avenue on 34th and North. Admission is absolutely free, and after 32 years, you already know how it goes down. And this year, don't miss the kids' phone party. Shout out to our platinum sponsors, the Office of Early Childhood Initiative, Mighty Small Moments, the Brewers Community Foundation, Spectrum, and Westcare, Wisconsin. Our gold sponsors, Maleka Early Learning Center, Liquid, formerly the Oasis, Unite WI, Community Health Primary Care Services, LLC, the Greater Milwaukee Urban League, Eisenberg, Riley, and Zimmerman, and the New Pitts Mortuary. Our silver sponsors, Mr. B's Privilege Lounge and Dog City, along with Running Rebels and Griffin CDL Institute. Limited vendor spaces available. If you'd like to support or make a donation, email homerblowfoundation@gmail.com or call 414-248-4954.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The dark brown shades of my skin only add color to my tears.
Didn't think you would hear some Syl Johnson, did you? I think I'm probably one of the best DJs in America, if I had to guess. JD the Poet says a lot. Let me jump in the YouTube conversation at a point where it makes sense. Brady Street is a gathering place for the city. The police have a large presence on Water Street starting at 9 p.m. The crowd has migrated to Brady due to the narrow nature of the street. Whenever there is, so let's say we have a general increase in crime in the city of Milwaukee, which I think that we are going through, but I don't think we're the only city going through it. Some of it is like natural ebbs and flows. Some of it is absolutely the economy. When prices go up and wages don't go up, you're going to see crime is going to spike. Alcoholism goes up. Domestic violence goes up. There's always negative social indicators. But another part of it is manufactured by politics. We know that Democrats spend a whole bunch of money and they get in a lot of trouble because they tax a lot. But Democrats also invest in people and invest in structures that can help youth or give youth alternatives. They'll invest in after-school programs. They'll invest in like diversion organizations that kind of give people alternatives to committing crime. Well, when Republicans get in office, they gut all that stuff because they think the money is best served going somewhere else, not necessarily investing in people. And in particular, when Republicans get in office, and let alone if they get super majorities, they will strip Democratic cities from those resources that we need to stay afloat. And that's the cycle of it. So we have a natural increase in crime. Some of it is economic because I don't know what this damn economy is doing. I personally think that we're in some kind of an economic recession, but you will never hear that come out of the Trump administration's mouth because Donald Trump has screwed up so many things. He doesn't want to add recession to it. When we look back on this era, I think we will see that we were in an economic recession, even though it wasn't named as such. And then also when you strip away a lot of the resources from neighborhoods and communities and blue states and blue cities, you're going to see some natural increases in crime. But whenever you have large entertainment districts, they're going to be impacted as well because if there's a natural spike in crime, and some spikes in crime in America are in fact natural, they just ebb and they flow, then entertainment districts where people gather are also going to be reflective of that trend. And it might even be more severe because you have a large group of people that are gathering, plus you're adding alcohol into the mix. And then you just have this general kind of understanding that is happening in American society where we don't really police each other's behavior. We don't use shame enough. there was a period of time where if you went to a restaurant and the atmosphere of the restaurant is kind of quiet and subdued and laid back and chilled out, if you were the table making noise, everybody in the restaurant would stare at you and you would feel some shame. I do not know what happened. That shame is no longer a part of our discourse in public. And you didn't want to be that person. You didn't want to be that loud table ruining everybody else's experience. Now people will go out just to ruin somebody else's experience. Like we used to police each other's behavior. They have a term for these places where we all hang out. I didn't know did they use this term. I think this term comes from the whites. They call them third spaces. Yeah, I didn't know that either, Xavier. I was reading an article and they kept referring to third spaces like we just knew what they were. Like, oh, in the third spaces, because this is where I got the information from that I'm talking about now about people not policing each other's behavior in these quote unquote third spaces. So you're at home, right? Because that's where you live and that's where you sleep and hopefully get laid. And then you go to work. And in third spaces are where you go to hang out. Didn't even know they had a title for it. So a third space would be restaurants, bars, lounges, parks, festivals, Summerfest, ethnic festivals. The 3rd Street Market Hall is the third space. The night market, which was recently canceled and will be rescheduled for October. And I guarantee you the October night market is going to be a lot more fun than a summer night market. I just love them in the fall. But those are third spaces. And we as a public, we don't have standards and expectations for everybody's behavior when we are in these third spaces. And that is leading to anybody can do and say anything and act a fool. And if you see somebody that you want to fight, you fight them on sight. You used to there'd be a person that you would see that you had a beef with. And you would see them and they would see you and you might even approach each other in a third space at a public event where there's children and there's other people that want to enjoy their time at the third space. But you see that mother sucker that you have a beef with. And here's what you would say to him. Be like, yeah, I'm going to let you slide this time because we're out here in public. But next time I see you, it's on. And then you just part ways. Here, people make a beeline for one another and just start beating each other up. Let's talk to the official poet laureate of 1017 The Truth, JD the Poet. Hello, JD. How are you?
I'm well, man. I do Brady Street pretty frequently to do my outreach work and, get my poetry out there and interact with the people because it's people of all ages. Everybody seems to think it's only young people on Brady Street. It's old people on Brady Street. I'm mid-age, and it's people 50, 60 still hanging out late at night because you have people that come in from conferences. They ask the hotel where are your entertainment districts, and they come down because everything isn't hip-hop based. You have Nashville North that plays country music. You have some other eclectic spaces. Dorcia has a nice happy hour, and sometimes people spill over and stay a little later. Beautiful area, and what's happening is the people from Water Street that were congregating have moved up because of the large police presence, and because it is a gathering space, people come there and they see each other from the north side, the south side, and it goes down. Or it could be a random confrontation and both guys happen to have pistols and it's a problem. An increased police presence isn't going to stop anything. I was there last week and it was a ton of police down there, and this was on like a Wednesday, and it still was some fights. It still were some altercations because of the food places, the Qdoba. So in order to curb that, we have to change our mindset and the mindset of the children. Over policing isn't going to do anything. They fight in front of the police. So that literally, and I've seen it. So that's not going to do anything. And until we have a change in mindset as a people and as people who go out, and we do have to police each other, like you say, it's not going to change. And it's still a fun place to go regardless of age. I usually go a little earlier in the day. I try to be home by midnight. That's when I turn into a pumpkin. But other than that, it's a decent space, and I think we should continue to enjoy it and be safe and vigilant while we're out.
Thank you, JD. I appreciate your call and your sentiments.
All right. Have a good day.
All right, you too. Now, he did say he's home or he leaves by a certain time, right? Which is probably smart. But that also is reflective of people having to change their behavior because of a phenomenon that is taking place in the culture. So that's a reflection and an acknowledgement that there's something in the air. There are a number of folk of a particular generation. And when I say of a generation, I'm talking about people now that are out there now, that are in the streets now, that are going out right now, whose behavior we're not going to fix. It's hopeless. If you have the mindset where you don't care about a public space, or a third space, and if you see somebody that you don't like, you'll pull a pistol out anywhere and you'll fight somebody on site. We can't do anything with you. And here's the other thing. Why would we waste our time? There are people that we can save. That is where our effort needs to be. We just have to resign to the fact that there are some people that we are not going to be able to save. And I think that we are less than productive because we spend so much time trying to change the minds and convince people that are too far gone. You'll never get them back. And there's a deep sympathy for these people. We have to help them. You can't. And once you realize that, you will be much better off and you will have more peace of mind, and you will take your efforts and whatever limited time that you have to make this city better, and you will put it where it will be most productive, because there are people that are saying, hey, I need help. I'm looking for alternatives. Hey, I'm looking for diversions. Those are the people that we can work with. But the ones that are already too far gone, we're going to have to let law enforcement take care of them. And that's just what the reality is, because there's some people that you're just not going to be able to do anything with. And I know that that might be a fatalistic kind of view. It is also very much rooted in reality. Buck says, can't compare marijuana smoking to crack. You can compare addiction. Yes, you can. While crack is a different kind of addiction, there are people that smoke marijuana from sun up to sundown. And there's way more people. And because it's become recreational in most of the country, and you even have these CBD shops that can sell Delta, I think Delta 9, Delta 8, Delta 10, one of those versions of THC. There's 20 or 30 of them just in the city of Milwaukee. Now, because of a revision by the Trump administration, a lot of these CBD shops that sell THC in Milwaukee are going to be closing. They have a deadline to close by November because Donald Trump is now curtailing that loophole from the 2018 Farm Bill. But it is, and there's no way that the constant smoking of marijuana, because THC is an intoxicant, and it's everywhere. Go anywhere in the city of Milwaukee, and you're a half a block away from smelling marijuana. That can't be good. And there's way more people that are using marijuana than ever use crack. Now, some people can smoke weed, and they're perfectly fine. Some people, when they smoke marijuana, their personalities change. If they mix a little alcohol with that, they become a totally different person. Addiction is prevalent, and it's an intoxicant. And I don't want people to just dismiss the fact that, oh, it's legal. Fair enough. A whole bunch of stuff is legal. Hell, alcohol is legal. But that still does not negate the impacts of alcohol abuse. Like, that's a real major problem. And for so long, people wanted marijuana to be legal. And then we deregulated it, and it's become essentially more prevalent, because you can just go right across the state line to Illinois. And if you show them in some of these shops that sell THC in Illinois, if you show them a Wisconsin ID, they're going to give you a major, major discount, because they want you to continue to keep coming back. And they want to undercut recreational marijuana if it ever becomes legal in Wisconsin, because it'll be cheaper in Illinois, because they can make additional profit off of Wisconsinites that get their THC across state lines. But I think that we have to really analyze how we will just become so incredibly lax on something that is an intoxicant, because kids are getting it too. And like all the little candies and the gummies, that's for kids, Because if you want to have an industry that lasts forever, you don't ever want to go out of business, get kids addicted. We had candy cigarettes when I was a kid, and guess what? I grew up and became a goddamn smoker. Thank God I quit. But they had to outlaw candy cigarettes because they knew that that was the true gateway to being addicted to nicotine. Having all the candies and having all the gummies and having all the little marijuana Skittles and all the things. Kids get a hold of that stuff. Go look up the statistics on the number of children like under the age of 5 that get THC intoxication because they see a piece of candy. So we have to rethink all of that stuff if we do believe that we are in an upward trend when it comes to crime. Milwaukee overnight shooting, one wounded on the city's lower east side. According to the Milwaukee Police Department, just before 12:30 a.m., a 28-year-old was shot in the area of Farwell and Brady. The shooting victim went to a local hospital for treatment of critical injuries. I'm going to take a break, come back, and give you a little bit of a history of the ebbs and flows of crime on Brady Street going back to the 1970s and the 1980s, to where they had to literally cancel the Brady Street Festival because of the violent crime in that neighborhood. And that's the Brady Street that I remember, because even going through the 1990s, Brady Street was a dump. I knew to stay away from that damn Walgreens when I was in high school. And now, of course, people are avoiding that Walgreens for the same reasons, but they may not be aware of the history. And I just don't want folks to be blaming black people for all of the terrible things going on in the Brady Street neighborhood. There was a period of time where we didn't touch Brady Street as black folks, and the crime was just as bad, if not worse. We're going to talk about it today on The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The performing arts do more than entertain. They bring the community together. From live performances and arts education to free community events, UPATH helps support the organizations that keep southeastern Wisconsin vibrant. But it only happens because of people like you. Every gift helps keep the arts accessible and inspiring for the entire community. Join thousands of supporters and give today at upaf.org. UPAF. One gift, regional impact.
The African American Roundtable, black-led organization on Milwaukee's far northwest side, has launched a safety campaign rooted in the basic need of food access. It's called Feed the Change MKE. Through community engagement, AART learned that easy access to and education about locally sourced and fresh food would help people feel healthier and safer. Also, local food providers need to learn how to engage the community, build awareness, and stay in our community long-term. So Feed the Change MKE encourages people to know, grow, prepare, and share food, especially from community-owned and operated stores, gardens, markets, and other culturally relevant sources. We can't rely on big corporations to meet these needs. That's why we must demand the city to invest $1 million into the Healthy Food Establishment Fund, formerly called the Fresh Food Access Fund. Join AART's campaign to win a dignified and choiceful system that we all can thrive in. Visit AARTMKE.org to learn more about Feed the Change MKE.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling, the limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes, rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
Don't act like that. Don't wear that. Don't think that. I've heard everything you tell yourself every time you felt different. And I want you to know that you can be vulnerable and powerful. That taking care of your mind is taking care of everyone you love and who loves you. Love your mind. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The shooting victim went to a local hospital for treatment of critical injuries, talking about a shooting that took place early this morning in the Brady Street neighborhood. We call it the Lower East Side on Brady and Farwell. And there have been several different and distinct eras of crime in the Brady Street neighborhood. And we are in currently the second distinct era of crime. And so in the late 1990s and the early 2000s saw real attention from the city to invest in that neighborhood and bring restaurants and bars to make it an entertainment district, because there's something that cities can actually do if they want to prioritize a neighborhood. I want folks to notice that contrast. A lot of you have noticed all the money, all the investment they have put into downtown, and we have neglected certain north side neighborhoods. And when those north side neighborhoods are higher in crime, that is reflective of bad city policy, because Brady Street used to be one of those neighborhoods as well. And the city decided they want to put its best foot forward to mitigate that crime. And they invested money and supported business improvement districts and gave away tax incremental financing. And then you had a period of development where a lot of bars and restaurants were coming into Brady Street. And then here's something else that happened. So when that takes place and the neighborhood is changing and becomes like hip, like one of those cool urban neighborhoods, and now people are moving in, the home prices went through the roof. Rent prices went through the roof, and Brady Street was good living. In fact, the previous 1017 The Truth, which I guess this is the third incarnation of this frequency. So now we are owned by Milwaukee Black Media. Prior to that, 101.7 was owned by Good Karma Brands. Good Karma Brands purchased this signal from the Devil's Advocates, and our radio station was located on Brady Street. That's where we broadcasted from. For how long was I there? Earl Ingram and I were there. I don't know. I think Earl started in 2017. I came in 2018. They were out of business by 2020. I hated working on Brady Street because it was gross. It's just nasty. I hate it. It's nasty. No offense, guys, but I'm also old enough to remember when it was a neighborhood that you avoided. And so you had an early crime spike on Brady Street in the 70s and the 1980s, and I got details of that. And then you had the revitalization. Everybody moved in, thought it was cool, thought it was hip, getting ripped off for the houses that they're paying and paying way too much rent. And now there's this third crime spike. So in my lifetime, I've seen more crime spikes and more dilapidated Brady Street than I've seen revitalized Brady Street. And it's always just stuck with me because it was a place to avoid. So when I got my driver's license in 1991, we explored the entire city. My parents gave me a car when I was 16. Probably the best and worst mistake that they ever made, but I'm very thankful that I had that kind of freedom. Here's another interesting bit of juxtaposition. These kids nowadays don't even want to drive. I remember my friends working 2 jobs in high school just so they could have some wheels, just so they could have a car. These kids don't even want to. I can't even put my head in the space to where I didn't want to drive. That's all we wanted to do. And if your friend had a car, I stopped taking the school bus because my friends who were a little bit older had cars. There was nothing cooler than getting out of one of your friends' raggedy cars, because all the cars back then were raggedy, but also you can get a car for $300 back then. And you park in a student parking lot. It was like status. If you had a friend that had a car, or lo and behold, if you had a car. I'm trying to think of what men and or boys need. Do boys even want to have sex with girls anymore, or is everybody gay? Because I'm not entirely sure about that. I think there's a whole, like a younger cohort of people where 82% of them are all gay. So we weren't gay back then, and we were a lot less gay. Or even back then, gay men still had sex with women. I guess maybe that's a problem, but whatever. All you had to do to get laid was have a car. So that was yet another reason for young men to want to get a job and to work and to get a car, because you get laid. All you needed was a vehicle. Now these kids don't even. What is motivating young men if it's not girls? I guess, well, if they're all gay, they're probably motivating each other. And I'm not coming down on the gays. It's just, for a group that doesn't naturally reproduce, they've reproduced. But I guess when you think about it, don't the gays come from the straights? So the straights make the gays. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just very confused because most of our motivation as young teenage boys was get a job, get some money, get a car, so you could go and pick a girl up and drive. We just used to drive around. That's all we go down to Highway 100 and cruise the strip. We might go to the shopping mall. We had drive-in movie theaters in which no one watched the movies. Our original Netflix and chill was, remember that drive-in they had over by Dreska Park? I can't think of the name of it, but you could sneak into the drive-in. So after the movie started, there was a side gate. Why they left it open, I never paid for a drive-in movie in my entire life. Me talking about drive-in movies is probably piquing somebody's interest because, like, oh, what's a drive-in movie? Let me tell you. It's a gigantic outdoor screen in the middle of a gigantic empty parking lot. Well, how do you hear the sound of the movie? I knew you would ask that question. You would tune your FM radio to a certain frequency, and the sound of the movie would broadcast in your car. And you'd be in the drive-in theater, and you'd bring your snacks, and you'd eat your snacks. Some people would drink alcohol. I know nothing about that at the drive-in theater. And sometimes you're sitting in the car. Sometimes you're sitting on the hood of the car. If somebody had a pickup truck, everybody's hanging out in a pickup truck, and they had a concession stand, and it was just a grand social event. Drive-in movie theaters. If you didn't have a car, you couldn't go to the drive-in movie theater because nobody went to the drive-in movie theater on foot. We were motivated by different things at the time. Oh, I miss those days so very much. Now, if you had a drive-in movie theater, it would be a drive-by movie theater because people would just start shooting each other at the drive-in movie theater. I swear I miss those simpler times, and there's a whole generation of people that will never know what that was like. I said I was going to talk about the damn history of the crime on Brady Street, and I just chewed through one of my segments. Don't worry, I got more segments to come. We'll talk about that next. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we know dads, the ones who know how to build it all, grill it all, and fix it all while still taking the time to share it all. So show them how much you care with great Father's Day gifts for one-of-a-kind dads. Like select men's Crocs footwear, 25% off. Save $40 on a 20-piece gear wrench ratcheting wrench set. And a 9-gallon Craftsman wet dry vac is on sale, $69.99. Find value on the Gifts Hill value. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Be an original.
Mommy, can I sit in the front seat just this one time? Please, please, please.
No, not yet.
But why?
Because I love you, and you're just not ready yet. Now, get in the back so I can get you in your car seat, please.
Putting your kids in the right seat for their age and size is an act of love. Check that your kids are in the right seat at NHTSA.gov/the right seat. Love protects. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
For 75 years, the Muscular Dystrophy Association's voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
For 75 years, we've willed the impossible into existence.
For 75 years, the MDA community has pushed the science,
shifted the narrative, and established the field of neuromuscular medicine.
And until that day when this is all a thing of the past,
you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
Don't act like that. Don't wear that. Don't think that. I've heard everything you tell yourself every time you felt different. And I want you to know that you can be vulnerable and powerful. That taking care of your mind is taking care of everyone you love and who loves you. Love your mind. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Reginald says, Y'all remember when the Pizza Man was on East North Avenue as well as the original Golden Chicken? The original Golden Chicken I don't remember, but I do remember Pizza Man that would burn down because there was an arson. It was a Pizza Man. That whole corner of that block burned down. Pizza Man. There was a nightclub on the corner which had a bunch of different names. It was Matisse, and it was Kush. And then there was a little coffee shop around the corner. And I believe the coffee shop owner, which was the smallest establishment on that block on East, like North Avenue in Kenilworth right there. That coffee shop was the smallest establishment. And then I think the owner set it on fire. And now it's apartments. What else did Reggie say that was interesting? He said, remember when cars were made out of metal? I don't know why people think that cars were safer when they were made out of metal. People would die from a 10-mile-an-hour crash. There was no airbags. There was no crumple zones. There was no safety technology. Like people always say, oh, back in the day when the cars were made out of steel, you would get jabbed in the heart by the steering wheel. Traffic fatalities have gone down dramatically because we have increased automobile safety. Let me get back on task here before I get bogged down in the YouTube chat and get to arguing with y'all. Brady Street in Milwaukee is best understood less as a single, quote, crime neighborhood and more of a high-density nightlife corridor inside the Lower East Side where crime patterns strongly track with nightlife cycles, population churn, and broader citywide violence trends. Its history from the 1980s to today show 3 distinct phases. Late urban decline, 1980s through the mid-1990s. Early revitalization, which is the late 90s through the 2010s. And nightlife intensification with episodic violent spikes from the 2010s through the present. So when I became, I'm going to call it municipally mobile, where I had a car and we would drive all over the city, Brady Street was in its urban decline. And I was told, stay away from that area. I also was told to stay away from the South Side as well. Because when my parents arrived in Milwaukee in the 1960s, they were warned to stay away from the South Side because of the very intense riots and protests that were opposed to open housing. And so my exposure to the South Side was few and far between. And I still stereotype white people that live on the South Side. That's why it was funny that lady called in yesterday, and I immediately knew that she was a South Sider. You can just tell. You can literally smell it. South Siders in Milwaukee have a distinct aroma. It's somewhere between the smell of like copper, like a penny, and wet dog. It's a very unique South Side aroma, and their last name's always in an SKI. Whatever. Not making fun of your last names, but you think black people have funny names. Go look at someone in Polish last names. Anyway, so I had to deal with the next generation of racist Southsiders because my parents dealt with, their peers of their age that were very racist and opposed to open housing. We had a lot of housing marches, and even George Wallace, when he ran for president, he said if he wasn't home in Alabama, you know where else he felt just as comfortable? On the South Side in the city of Milwaukee. It also should be noted that when George Wallace ran for president in the 1960s, I think either in 64 or 68, he ran on a racist segregationist platform and had a campaign office in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. So go figure. 1980s, urban decline and drug market and opportunistic violence. During the 1980s, Brady Street and surrounding Lower East Side blocks were part of a Milwaukee urban core experiencing high vacancy and business turnover, heroin and cocaine distribution networks tied to broader Midwest drug routes. See, a lot of folks didn't know that. It was literally a heroin dump. Because people would think of Brady Street like, oh, we're going to go down there and have fun. All right. I know back in the day, you were advised to always be wearing shoes if you're walking around on Brady Street. Street-level robberies and assaults concentrated near the commercial corridors. Citywide data reflects the environment. Milwaukee violent crime in 1985 was 4,058 total violent crimes citywide, with a violent crime rate of 652 per 100,000 residents. That is insanely high. By 1990, violent crime rose to 6,288 incidents citywide. Brady Street specific dynamic, mixed residential commercial blocks with weaker evening foot traffic compared to downtown cores. Crime tended to be a little more situational rather than territorial. Robberies, assaults, and break-ins. Limited nightlife compared to later decades, meaning fewer large crowd incidents, but more isolated and frequent street crime after business hours. 1990s early stabilization plus emerging entertainment corridor. The 1990s marked a transition for Brady Street. Gradual reinvestment in the Lower East Side, growth of bars, restaurants, and small music venues, increased pedestrian activity compared to the 1980s. The crime environment, Milwaukee's violent crime, peaked mid-decade in 1995 at 6,700 incidences of violent crimes citywide. The Brady Street pattern shift. Crime begins to shift from vacancy-driven to now crowd-driven. More bar fights, alcohol-related assaults, theft from vehicles, fewer abandoned property crimes relative to the 1980s. So it just seems that Brady Street has kind of ebbed and flowed with the times, but the two distinct eras of crime, one right now, the other one going back to the 1970s and the 1980s, is more that neighborhood's history than it being this fun, cool place to live, and you buy your house and you have all the entertainment district. That is a relatively new phenomenon, and what's going to happen is at some point, if these summers continue, it's going to see a decline again, because if your business is getting robbed and there's shootings, like, you don't want to have to pay the exorbitant amount of rent and the lease for your business space. You might lose some customers. Who knows? Maybe we get out ahead of it. Maybe we do not. The long run summary: 1980s on Brady Street, vacancy plus opportunities for street crime. 1990 stabilization and early entertainment corridors. 2000 to the 2010s, gentrified nightlife district with crowd-based violence. In the 2020s, lower frequency but higher visibility violent incidents with periodic spikes. I have an article on, I'm going to have to find it. I don't know where it is. Well, they had to end the Brady Street Festival. You know, the Brady Street Festival used to be twice a year. They still do it. Yeah, they do. Right? It's just once a year. They used to do it 2 times a year. Then, because the crime got so bad, they did it 0 times a year. And then they brought it back. And who knows if they're going to take it away again, because really all it takes is one incident and for vendors and sponsors to pull out, and then it can potentially happen again. So I'm trying to give this perspective on the history of Brady Street so people don't think that the crime that is happening is a one-off or a singularity. There's a history of that neighborhood experiencing a whole bunch of ebbs and flows that basically mimic the overall trends in the city. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for hour 2.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Natural gas is a clean, reliable, and convenient source of energy delivered directly to you through underground pipelines. The pipeline system has an excellent safety record, but there are clues that can help you identify a potential hazard. If you smell the strong odor of rotten eggs, hear an unusual hissing sound, or see blowing dirt or debris, it could be a natural gas leak. Leave the area immediately and call We Energies at 800-261-5325.
We Energies. People you can trust. Energy you can depend on.
Are you looking for a place to shop that offers a fair market price? Or how about a place that is clean with a friendly atmosphere, has been recently remodeled? You need to visit Century Food Store on 92nd and Lisbon Avenue. They offer a wide variety of grocery items, meats, and fresh vegetables at a fair market price. And don't forget the hot food section, which offers soul food, Indian, and Mexican foods. So what you waiting for? You can also order groceries through DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Instacart, or stop by Century Foods at 92nd and Lisbon Avenue today. You're listening to the home of Milwaukee's realest conversations on 1017 FM and 1510 AM. W269DL, Milwaukee, a Milwaukee Black Media Company.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Love and happiness. Yeah. Something that can make you do wrong, make you do right. Yeah. Love.
Welcome to Hour 2 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. I found it. Talking about Brady Street. And I'm not discouraging people from going. Go and have a good time. Just be home at a reasonable hour. Isn't that with pretty much anything else? Because, once it gets later, because I think that the thug people, they sleep in. You know how many times I've heard people say, oh, Sherwin, these people, they really should be listening to your show. They're not going to listen to my show. My show was on before noon. They're not awake. Oh, Sherwin, if they listen to you, then things would be so much better. You can't get these people up. Here's the thing. If you have, I don't know, what is the age in which parents should start telling their kids it's time for you to stand on your own? But no, let me also say this, though, because there's a larger number, probably the largest number of people under the age of 30 that still live at home because it's too expensive to get your own place. So kids, even adult kids, are living with their parents longer. But at what age? Because in my day, and I can comfortably say my day because I'm just that old, your parents would treat your 18th birthday like every grand holiday all rolled into one. And it was very intimidating because my parents would use that to intimidate me. Sherwin, when you turn 18, it's one of those where you got to do something. You ain't going to stay here. You got to figure your life out. Either you're going to go get your own place or you're going to go to school, because I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do. I wasn't exactly hyped up to go to college because high school was enough for me. Oh, wait till you turn 18. They would just scare you. If you get in trouble by the police when you're an adult, it's different, sure. If the police catch you when you're a juvenile, that's one thing. But, when you're 18, the police will murder you and give you the electric chair. It's very frightening. Now, you'll have a parent treating their 29-year-old like a baby. No, I'm going to let him live with me because the world is a scary place, and I don't want my boy, it's usually boys, I don't want my boy to be out there in the world. He can stay with me for as long as he wants. And I'm thinking to myself, he's got kids. Like, you're a grandmother. I know, but he's still a baby. Your baby has babies. He's got 4 baby mamas. It's been some major social changes. Like, we encourage young people to go out and, stand on your own 2 feet and start, experiencing the world, not staying at home. But also, we didn't want to stay with our parents anymore. We long for freedom. So I had a group of friends that I grew up with. Some of them left. They moved away or they went to college in other places. Some of them stayed in those other places. Some of them eventually came back. But then there was a cohort of people that after high school, they got apartments downtown. They got apartments, well, not so much downtown. There wasn't really a lot of housing downtown, but on the east side. Right after high school, they didn't want to live with their parents. Some people moved out like the month that we graduated from high school. We graduated in June back in the day at Brown Deer. Some of these kids were signing leases and had parties on July 4th because they could not wait to get out of their parents' houses. And maybe because the economy was different, but I think the motivation to be independent was really, really strong. We wanted to have cars. We wanted to drive. We wanted to go and explore. And maybe the internet has reduced that desire. Because technically, if you go online, you can travel pretty much anywhere. You can talk to people from all over the place. You don't physically have to leave home. But also, I think the world has become a scarier place, which is unfortunate because when you think about it, The world should have been scarier back then when you were disconnected. When you left home, it was like a 50-50 shot of whether you were even going to come back. If you left home, nobody even knew where you were. Now we track people. You have couples that have each other's location. I have never in my life ever needed to know where my significant other is all of the time. How does that not drive you insane? Because isn't that like a whole nother job when you're, oh no, she's on 14th Street. I better call her. Why do you care? I don't get that. Xavier, are you into that tracking? Like if you with somebody, turn your location on so I can know where you are.
No, but I was gonna say, didn't you guys have beepers back in the day?
Yeah, but a beeper didn't track your location.
Yeah, but I'm talking about they just blow you up.
And you can just not go to a payphone. 99% of the time, if you got a beep, you didn't reply. It's like, or they would beep like a code or something, and that would beeping 911. Oh, I better call this person back. And then we would overuse paging somebody with 911 because then somebody pages you. You'd see the 911. You go to a damn payphone, call them back, and you're like, oh, what's the emergency? Nothing. I just want to know where you're at. Yeah, beepers we had beepers in high school. It was like a status symbol. There was a period of time where the only folks that had pagers were doctors. Then after that, drug dealers, because you need your fiends to be able to get in contact with you. And then it just got kind of generalized into the regular culture. I think hip-hop culture also fueled beepers because Sir Mix-a-Lot had a song called Beepers. It was actually a really cool piece of technology. Do you guys remember how beepers worked? Somebody would call your pager number, and sometimes you could record a greeting, right? You could record music or record, hey, you've reached Sherwin, leave me your phone number. And then you would take your touch tone phone and then type in the number that you wanted to display on the pager, and then you would see the number, and you could decide if you want to call the person back or not. What made beepers obsolete is the cell phone, the personal communication service, Sprint PCS. Now everybody's got a phone in their pocket, but there was no internet on the phone. It was just for making telephone calls. But that wasn't until probably the late 1990s and the early 2000s, because, back in the day, in the 80s and 90s, if somebody had a cell phone, you know how hard cell phones were to get? You had to pass your credit score had to be of a certain level before they would even give you a cell phone. And if people had that, you could always tell because they had that little squiggly antenna on the back windshield of their vehicle, and you looked at that person like, oh my, they have a phone in their car. Now phones are the damn end of civilization. The cancellation of the Brady Street Festival in 1981 was a direct reflection of shifting, volatile environments on Milwaukee's Lower East Side. In the late 1960s and 70s, Brady Street evolved from a traditional Italian immigrant enclave into the, quote, Haight-Ashbury of the Midwest, the vibrant epicenter of the city's counterculture, anti-war movement, and hippie lifestyle. Out of the eccentricism, the Brady Street Days Festival was born in 1973. However, just 8 years later, in 1981, the neighborhood was buckling under severe structural decline and a stark escalation in crime. And I'm giving you this information because this has nothing to do with the black people. We always want to associate crime and dilapidated neighborhoods and the canceling of festivals with black people. Now, black people, we had our own stuff going on too. So while Brady Street was declining and they canceled their Brady Street Festival, in the same time frame, our Juneteenth Day was going under a little bit of a transition too. Let's not forget about that. Juneteenth Day used to stretch from sun up to sundown, from coast to coast on 3rd Street. From how far down did it go? Because this is before my time. To North Avenue, maybe? Burleigh to North? That's 17 blocks? That's big. It used to go till, now we would argue over this, midnight? 10 p.m.? It was very dark when Juneteenth ended. Now when Juneteenth ends, you still can get lunch. the migration of the counterculture and urban blight. By the late 1970s, the quote, flower power era had largely faded. Many of the students, artists, and political activists who had kept the Brady Street neighborhood tight-knit and self-policing began migrating across the river into the River West neighborhood. Oh, River West used to be a dump, too. Now, this makes sense. River West went through something similar, and now River West, and then I would also say shortly after that, Brewers Hill, that was crack heaven. That, for the people that overestimate the impact of the crack epidemic, Brewers Hill was very cracky. Now look at it, a gentrified heaven on earth. Oh, yeah, Brewers Hill was super duper cracky. Like, you know how people sometimes they'll be on the beach with a metal detector looking for jewelry and lost, like coins. Do you ever see somebody with a metal detector on the beach? Brewers Hill back in that day, you could do the same thing but find like crack flakes. Like, oh, look, I've found an unused rock. No, that's not true, because if a crackhead lost a rock, they'd be on their hands and knees and would end up smoking anything that even looked remotely like a crack rock. By the late 1970s, the flower power era had largely faded. Many of the students, artists, and political activists who had kept the Brady Street neighborhood tight-knit and self-policing began migrating across the river to the River West neighborhood. As they left, a vacuum formed, property values plummeted, building maintenance stopped, and the tightly packed storefronts sat vacant or deteriorated into urban blight. Open drug markets and drastic violent crime, the relaxed, drug-friendly counterculture of the early 1970s took a dark and hard-edged turn as the decade ended. The Brady Street neighborhood's bohemian reputation began attracting more predatory elements. Heroin and heavy narcotics. Soft drugs like marijuana gave way to heavy narcotics, turning certain corners of Brady Street into active open-air drug markets. That's the Brady Street that I was told to stay away from. And when you are told as a young person, as a teenager, as an adolescent, hey, don't go to Brady Street because, crack. Also, keep in mind, at that time, we were in the just say no era. So if you were on drugs at the time, you were a monster. We didn't know anything about addiction. We didn't know anything about PTSD and mental illness and how people self-medicate. All that stuff came later. Back in the day, if you were on drugs, you were a bastard. Had Nancy Reagan telling us to just say no. I think we went a little bit too far with that. Then we had the DARE program. Do you guys recall I did a whole show. This was a couple years ago, I guess. I did a whole show on the DARE program. So if you're of a certain age, you had drug awareness, resistance, education, and McGruff the crime dog. Like it was a major effort, like millions and millions of dollars. But you know what that was? That was an excuse because they didn't prevent kids from doing drugs. When we look back on all the money that was spent on drug awareness, resistance, education, it did not have an impact on teen or adolescent or even early adult drug use. It was a reason to put cops in schools, to hire more police, to give police more overtime, and to give them cushy jobs, but also getting kids to open up. Let's talk to Andre. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
Hey, good morning.
Morning.
Okay, real quick, Juneteenth actually went from Center Street south to North Avenue. When they started building up and it became a little bit better area, they moved it north.
Okay.
More towards Burleigh. It never went from Locust or none of that. None of that was involved. It went from Center to North Avenue. And
so what was the longest Juneteenth route? So was that what was the long? Because there was an era where it had a lot of length. What was the longest? So Burleigh to
Center to North Avenue. Center to North Avenue.
That's only 5
Center to North
blocks.
Avenue it's 4 blocks actually.
That's small.
Center, but yeah, them blocks were long and they had everything in them fields and it was just nice.
Okay. What year was
nice.
this roughly? 80s, 90s, 70s?
In the 80s.
Okay.
In the 80s, yeah. And then they had that, you mentioned Brewers Hill. They were known for the teas and blues, and you wouldn't even know what that is, probably.
Tell me what
it
it
is.
is.
Big teas and blue. That's fake heroin.
Oh, no.
It's $2 heroin. But you could buy that. Prostitution was down there. There was a bar called Curly's, and Curly made himself $1 million selling 10 and 20 cent glasses of beer down there. But this was kind of even before the crack epidemic. When that during the crack epidemic was actually the transition of Brewers Hill, when person like me and you couldn't even walk. They wanted us out of there. We lived down there, but they started doing stuff where the widow whose husband died worked at L. Smith. They couldn't afford it. You had to restore your house to originally. You couldn't put siding. You had to use the pastel. They made a lot of rules to damn near put them people. Not damn near. They did get them out of their houses.
Interesting.
So, yeah, and that's what happened. Anybody who's my 60 years old and know that they'll know exactly what they'll remember the Curlies and this, that, and the other. Just Google the teas and blues epidemic in Milwaukee.
I will do that.
We'll
Thank you.
Use some interesting cases. All right,
thank
sure.
you, Andre. Appreciate you. Teas and blue. I didn't know what the hell that was. So there also was this thing that we called it a low-income condominium experiment, following along with what Andre said. So when people were being displaced from their homes in the Brewers Hill neighborhood by putting up certain restrictions on how homes could be restored, and then, of course, property taxes were going up because now you have a new cohort of people that are moving into the neighborhood. They're buying those dilapidated houses. They're fixing them up. And then properties of like architecture would experience an increase in property value and therefore property taxes. And if you are on a fixed income, you can't really weather or withstand a major increase in your property taxes because that's a natural, it's still immoral and sinister, but it's a way in which you can displace people who are of lower incomes if you increase their property values, which is typically good, but that also forces them to sell. If you can no longer afford your property taxes, but the price or the value of your home has gone up, that would force you to sell. And so now you got to wonder, well, where are people going to go? So the low-income condominium experiment was, well, we want to offer people in the city of Milwaukee who are being displaced from north side neighborhoods that are very close to downtown because they knew that the downtown development was coming because urban planning is like 50 years out. So even before John Norquist was mayor, but particularly when he was mayor, they were planning for downtown to look exactly like this. I literally am in a shopping mall broadcasting right now because they wanted to build up downtown and offer things downtown so that downtown Milwaukee could compete with the suburbs. And I would argue that in the long view, the city of Milwaukee won. But you got to get rid of the people. Where are you going to put the people? Well, we're going to have what is called a low-income condominium experiment. We are going to move black people out to the very far northwest side of the city of Milwaukee. I'm assuming it's still there. It was right across the street. I haven't been out that way in years because I have no reason to go because the northwest side of the city that I'm speaking of is literally the land that time forgot. It's like it's a wasteland of absolutely nothing, but it was done intentionally. So you moved people from near north side neighborhoods out to the far northwest side. So think Brown Deer Road between 76th Street and 107th Street. So you had Northridge over there, and you had a condominium development called North Meadows, where you would move people who were displaced from living in near north side neighborhoods to these low-income condominiums. So it's a really weird thing that we used to do when we were teenagers. There was a Taco Bell on 91st and Brown Deer Road. It's not a Taco Bell anymore. I'll let you guess what it is. It's a JJ's Chicken and Fish and Chicken. Assuming it's still open. I don't even know. They might have ran the JJ's out of there. But as high school kids, we were always looking for places where we could go and hang out after hours without having to go down to the strip on Highway 100. So and the Brown Deer Park was closed at 10 o'clock. And if you were in Brown Deer Park, the sheriff's office would come and kick you out. But we weren't ready to go home yet. And as we were getting older, our curfews were getting a little bit later and nobody wanted to go home. So we hung out in the parking lot of the Taco Bell on 91st and Brown Deer Road. And we would just listen to music and we would just hang out. And the Taco Bell staff could not have cared less. So this is the early 1990s. But then as more and more people who were being displaced from near North Side neighborhoods started to migrate to North Meadows on 91st and Brown Deer, then we were starting to engage with those folks, and several of my friends got robbed. There were many, many fights, and of course, we couldn't hang out at that Taco Bell parking lot anymore. So guess where we hung out after that? On the advice of the Milwaukee Police Department. Cops used to be cool. I don't care what nobody says. They said, hey, it's not safe for you kids to be hanging out here in this Taco Bell parking lot, because the cops would get called frequently because there's always a fight. And also a lot of kids from Vincent High School would kind of infringe on our territory, and we didn't like that. And so the police would be like, look, and the cops said this to us, not to the other kids. Go hang out in Northridge's parking lot, because Northridge was closed by 9 o'clock. So after 10 o'clock, Northridge was completely closed and completely vacant. And we actually would hang out in the Northridge parking lot. And the cops were like, as long as you guys don't mess anything up and just you mind your P's and Q's, we won't bother you. Now, we'll do a couple of laps around the service drive at Northridge, but as long as you guys are just hanging out, not causing any issues, we won't bother. And we used to party in the Northridge parking lot. But as that neighborhood started to transition and more people were shipped out to the North Meadows, that low-income condo experiment, it killed that whole neighborhood, and it has not come back. We still don't know what the hell to do with Northridge. I've seen some renderings and a couple of charrettes of things that they're considering putting out there at Northridge. There's been a bunch of town hall meetings and a bunch of ideas being floated. But to the best of my knowledge, no ground has been broken on what they're going to do with that neighborhood. The land that time forgot due to the displacement of mostly black and lower income residents that were moved from the Brewers Hill neighborhood out to the far northwest side. At the same time, you got people coming up here from Chicago, Detroit, and Gary, Indiana, because Wisconsin was still giving out welfare checks. So those other states had reformed their welfare system, but not Wisconsin. So you had the worst of the worst from those urban areas descending on Milwaukee. And some folks will even blame the increased spikes in crime in Milwaukee on the worst elements that came to Wisconsin to take advantage of our yet unreformed welfare system. And it remained unreformed until about 1995. How interesting is that? Welfare gets cut off. Bill Clinton signed some legislation to reform welfare. I think we did some stuff here statewide as well. But then the year before, you have the crime bill. So not only do you have a 1994 crime bill, you're now cutting people off of welfare. That contributed to mass incarceration as well. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The African American Roundtable, black-led organization on Milwaukee's far northwest side, has launched a safety campaign rooted in the basic need of food access. It's called Feed the Change MKE. Through community engagement, AART learned that easy access to and education about locally sourced and fresh food would help people feel healthier and safer. Also, local food providers need to learn how to engage the community, build awareness, and stay in our community long-term. So Feed the Change MKE encourages people to know, grow, prepare, and share food, especially from community-owned and operated stores, gardens, markets, and other culturally relevant sources. We can't rely on big corporations to meet these needs. That's why we must demand the city to invest $1 million into the Healthy Food Establishment Fund, formerly called the Fresh Food Access Fund. Join AART's campaign to win a dignified and choiceful system that we all can thrive in. Visit AARTMKE.org to learn more about Feed the Change MKE.
The Homeward Blow Foundation, Inc., nonprofit 501c3, and our presenting sponsor, Beta Philanthropies, Inc., invites you to the 32nd annual Homeward Blow birthday party for the kids on Saturday, June 27th from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. for kids ages 2 to 13 years old at the Fitzsimmons Boys and Girls Club and Metcalf School, located at 3400 West North Avenue on 34th and North. Admission is absolutely free, and after 32 years, you already know how it goes down. And this year, don't miss the kids' phone party. Shout out to our platinum sponsors, the Office of Early Childhood Initiative, Mighty Small Moments, the Brewers Community Foundation, Spectrum, and West Care, Wisconsin. Our gold sponsors, Maleka Early Learning Center, Liquid, formerly the Oasis, Unite WI, Community Health Primary Care Services, LLC, the Greater Milwaukee Urban League, Eisenberg, Riley, and Zimmerman, and the New Pitts Mortuary. Our silver sponsors, Mr. B's Privilege Lounge and Dog City, along with Running Rebels and Griffin CDL Institute. Limited vendor spaces available. If you'd like to support or make a donation, email homerblowfoundation@gmail.com or call 414-248-4954.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the...
That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
It's like candy. I can feel it when you walk. Even when you talk, it takes over me. Yes, I'm dandy.
You guys have heard this song before, right? Candy's a popular song. It's about cocaine. Cocaine song. Uh-oh. It's kicking in.
It's the same feeling I always seem to get around you.
Changes the whole meaning. Now that you know that cocaine in the 80s must have been lovely. All right, let me just I find this so interesting because we don't look at the clashing of ethnicities amongst white people. Did you guys know that white people sometimes hate each other? We seem to think that they all gang up against black people. We, as black people, can bring warring factions of white people together because they will band together to stop us. But if we're not around, if black people are vacant from a space, especially in a segregated city, white folks will just hate each other. And I have evidence, and we've probably seen it anecdotally, where non-black people will operate in a way that divides and splits black folks and puts us against one another. There's evidence of that because if we are working together, black people can make tremendous amounts of progress. And so there's always forces that are designed to do this thing called divide and conquer. Maybe we should divide and conquer the whites. Have we ever thought about that? Can we get the whites to fight each other without us being involved? Because their history as Western and Southern and Northern Europeans, the majority of their history, they've hated each other. Protestants and Catholics used to bomb each other in Ireland. How ridiculous. And it's such a small religious difference, but like their history is hating one another. And the Italians didn't like the Greeks and the Germans didn't like the Russians. What if we just return to that and they would just leave us the hell alone? The relaxed, drug-friendly counterculture of the early 1970s on Brady Street took a dark, hard-edged turn as the decade ended. The neighborhood's bohemian reputation began attracting more predatory elements. Heroin and heavy narcotics, soft drugs like marijuana gave way to heavy narcotics, turning certain corners of Brady Street into active open-air drug markets. Proximity to bars and the unstable drug trade led to a spike in public intoxication, weapons offenses, and street fights. This is in the 70s now. This is not us. This is them. Muggings and armed robberies targeting pedestrians and small business owners became an alarming norm on Brady Street. Festival oversaturation and public disruption. The Brady Street Festival itself, originally a twice-yearly neighborhood block party meant to unite, you ready for this? Meant to unite old-school Italians with incoming hippies. What could go wrong there? You want to talk about complete and total polar opposite white cultures? You know, Milwaukee was very much a mob town. And when I think old Italian families, I think of La Costa Nostra. I think of Frankie Ball. I think of the Milwaukee, Chicago, and Kansas City mob that built what city? Las Vegas. The New York mob and those five families, where Donald Trump was coming up, that was his developmental environment, they were involved in construction and robbing from the JFK airport and LaGuardia and heisting from the ports. That's the New York crime outfit. They kept everything out there in New York. But everything west of that, Chicago, Milwaukee, and Kansas City, built Las Vegas because, you know, the mobsters needed a place to go out in the middle of the desert where they could do their business, they could have a little fun, they could party a little bit, and bury many bodies. And so now when I look at what happened on Brady Street, these old school Italian families, because Brady Street used to be an Italian neighborhood, and so did the Third Ward, by the way, if you guys didn't know. In fact, the Third Ward, you can still see some remnants of it. When produce came to Milwaukee to be distributed to grocery stores, it came to the Third Ward. The Italians controlled the produce markets in the city of Milwaukee. So if you had a neighborhood grocery store, any old head will tell you this stuff. If you wanted produce in your grocery store, you had to buy it from the mafia. Oh, a lot of folks don't talk about that. Oh, Milwaukee's got a fascinating history. Once you get past the racial animus between black people and white people did way terrible things in Milwaukee. Prostitution was damn near legal right across from City Hall. Milwaukee was a big brothel city. It was really, really bad in the late 1800s. Milwaukee was a free-for-all town. And then you wonder why a century later, maybe a little bit more than a century later, Milwaukee became the hub for human trafficking because it always had been. The festival itself, originally a twice-yearly neighborhood block party meant to unite old-school Italian families with incoming hippies, became unmanageable as the street fell on, quote, hard times. The massive crowds descending on the area became increasingly rowdy. I just can't see old-school Italians partying with hippies. Hey, cut your freaking hippie hair, you freaking hippie. Hey, yo. Come on, Guido. Dude, chill out, man. I'll kick your hippie ass. Minor property damage, public urination, looting. Shame on you, whites. And aggressive behavior overwhelmed the local business owners on Brady Street who organized the original Brady Street festivals. Local law enforcement resources were strained trying to secure a multi-block, densely packed neighborhood festival where illicit drug deals and violent escalations were hiding in plain sight. And I'm giving you this context because this has nothing to do with black people. These are hippies and Italians. You know, the original thugs. The aftermath. Fearing for public safety and the survival of their remaining storefronts, local merchants and organizers completely pulled the plug after the summer of 1981. Following the Brady Street Festival's cancellation, Brady Street went into its, quote, dark ages, falling into a deep economic and social rut for the better part of the 1980s. It wasn't until the late 1980s and early 1990s, driven by massive community gentrification efforts and business reinvention, the Brady Street area transformed into the yuppie commercial nightlife hub it is today. The festival wouldn't see the light of day again until it was finally revived after 23 years in 2004. So it's a very familiar pattern, almost regardless of the race. A neighborhood becomes dilapidated, crime goes up, open air drug markets, then property values fall to a complete low. Then people come in, taking advantage of the low property values. They gentrify it, and there you go. Now you have more businesses coming in, more storefronts coming back, and you can bring back the Brady Street Festival. So crime sometimes has a positive function in the long run because crime will tank property values, and then folks will come. Brewers Hill's another example. It's a very familiar pattern. Crime goes up, property values go down, investors looking to buy low and sell high come in, take advantage, and then there you go. Gentrification that revitalizes neighborhoods, but in a very unproductive and short-term way. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Doctors Without Borders is delivering life-saving medical care where it's needed most in communities around the world. From bandaging war-wounded patients in Sudan to providing clean drinking water in Haiti, we're in more than 70 countries worldwide, bringing patients from sick to recovering, from emergency to aid, from crisis to care. This life-saving care is made possible by a global movement of supporters like you. Thank you.
Mommy, can I sit in the front seat just this one time? Please, please, please.
No, not yet.
But why?
Because I love you, and you're just not ready yet. Now, get in the back so I can get you in your car seat, please.
Putting your kids in the right seat for their age and size is an act of love. Check that your kids are in the right seat at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Love protects. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
For 250 years, our armed forces have bravely served America. Wounded Warrior Project honors that legacy by supporting post-9/11 service members and veterans like Anthony, a Marine who was injured by a roadside bomb in Afghanistan.
They carried me through my injuries, not just my physical, but my mental. And seeing other vets doing the same thing helped me tell myself, hey, you can do this.
Join us in honoring warriors at woundedwarriorproject.org/America.
In the United States, a vehicle is stolen every 31 seconds, about as long as this message. Luckily, you can take a few easy steps to protect your car in the same amount of time. Remove your valuables, roll up your windows, don't leave your car running unattended, lock your doors, and take your keys or fob. If you have information about a crime, call the police. If you suspect insurance fraud, also call 800-TEL-NICB. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling, the limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes, rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Why do I find it so hard to love you? When I know in my heart that I want to. I've been putting you down when you aren't around. I'm letting you down every day. I've been messing around when you're out of town. Why do I keep on running away? I'm a part-time lover.
You can't tell me this don't go hard as a rock. Man, listen to me about this Hannah Williams. YouTube is going to completely take this video down for copyright infringement, so listen while you can. A new report, ladies and gentlemen, finds that a shift in sentencing in Milwaukee police chases, and it's not necessarily a good shift. Now, we have to figure something out. Do we want harsher sentences for people that commit crimes that make our neighborhoods and communities unsafe, uninhabitable? Property values are going down. You know, when property values go down, gentrification comes in. More and more businesses are going to leave. We just heard about another Walgreens that's going to close. I didn't know that people went to Walgreens that much. I thought that people had a whole bunch of other options to get their, I don't know, prescriptions. And get a prescription anywhere. You can get them sent to your house. But another Walgreens is closing, and we have grocery stores, of course, that have closed. And I've tried to provide some reason and rationale for that. But at some point, we're going to have to figure out what is acceptable to us, because if we have, let's just say black people are committing crimes. Let's just say that. And we send black people to jail for committing crimes that can have a detrimental impact on our neighborhoods. They can close Walgreens and grocery stores, and other businesses don't want to invest, and then property values are plummeting. And you know, when property values go down, so do the property tax collections. Therefore, we have less money for our schools. It's a really bad cycle. But if black people in black neighborhoods are committing crimes, let's just say, I'm not saying that black people are committing crimes, but what if they are? And then those black people will get caught and they go to trial and they're found guilty. And then a bunch of black people go to jail because they committed a crime. And it could be a crime that has a reverberating impact on the stability of a community. They commit a crime, they get caught, they get sentenced, they go to jail. And then we look after a couple of years and we say, wow, there's a lot of black people in jail. The system must be racist. Because eventually that's what we're going to deduct from that, because nobody looks critically at why so many black people are in jail. Now, I also can say, well, because of a education system that's lackluster and there's not enough job training. It can be the overall economy. You got to look at all the nuances, which nobody ever wants to do. But we can't say that harsh punishments are racist when there are people that are committing those crimes that have a long-lasting impact. Like a homicide costs millions of dollars. It costs millions of dollars in lost income for the family, lost investment in the neighborhood, reduced property values, the cost of the incarceration of the person, the impact on the victim. It's a really, really expensive proposition. If you multiply those millions of dollars times however many homicides we're going to have in the city of Milwaukee this year, which likely will exceed 200, it's really, really costly. But then we have to figure out, when people commit crimes and they get found guilty, and these crimes can have a long-lasting impact on a neighborhood, these crimes can close shops, stores, shopping malls, right? We can't say that when the people who are responsible for committing those crimes that really hurt the community, really bad, we can't say, oh, well, them going to jail is racist. What do you want to do? Just everybody needs rehabilitation? Do you think that actually works? Are they suffering from mental illness when they murder somebody, when they shoot somebody at a public event, at a festival? Oh, no, don't put them in jail because that's racist. We got to figure this out, because right now I think you have a bunch of judges that are like, you know what, I don't want to be called racist, because our judges on circuit court that sentence people to jail and prison have to get reelected. And as the African-American electorate grows in number, you're going to have some judges that don't want to be accused of being too harsh on their black defendants because they want to get reelected by an increasing share of black voters. And so they're letting these people out on the streets, or they're giving them diversion, or they're giving them long, like, probation sentences, and they're going to come out to the community and they're going to reoffend again because they may be afraid of being called racist, because we're very quick to do that. There was hardly any detailed analysis of the 1994 crime bill. And yes, absolutely, it did incarcerate a lot of black people. But a lot of black people were doing a lot of stuff that'll get you incarcerated. And so if you're black and you do something that's illegal and you go to jail, is that racist or did you break the law? Let's talk to people that I'm sure know the answer to this question. Let's start with Mac. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing fine. How about yourself?
I'm doing okay. What's on your mind, Mac the Knife? Can we ask you where that name came from?
Well, that's my handle for the radio, Mac the Knife.
Thank you for that explanation.
Is that all right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I think, if we had the likes of a Sherwin and a Breyer, a lot of this crime wouldn't be happening, especially that Sherwin thing, because nobody wants to go in front of Judge Sherwin. And, so, and crime is that bad. So that's my answer. Thank you for taking my call. We'll talk to you tonight.
Thank you, Mac.
Thank you, sir.
All right, then.
All right.
All right. Okay. All right, then. Guess he'll be on the Hughes Views 414 podcast tonight. He's referring to Chief Harold Breyer, who would lock this city down and would patrol with a very iron fist. He's a very racist guy. Do you think that we need to return to racist policing? That's not fair either. New report finds shift in sentencing in Milwaukee police chases. A group that studies police chase cases says Milwaukee County judges are issuing sentences that are more aligned with what prosecutors recommend. I suppose that's good news. A group that studies police chases says Milwaukee County judges are issuing sentences that are more aligned with prosecutors. The group, called Enough is Enough, a legacy for Aaron, sits in on fleeing cases in Milwaukee County and has been studying them since 2024. Their work is in honor of Erin Morganson, an innocent, soon-to-be mom killed in a police chase in 2023. Quote, "We want there to be adequate accountability because that sends a message to people that fleeing the police and driving recklessly is not okay and not negotiable," says Janine Lupo, who leads the group. Their latest findings show that judges issuing more lenient sentences than what prosecutors recommend 52% of the time. Is that an issue? Let's say that these people that are fleeing the police, let's just say they're black. And judges are now issuing sentences that are more lenient than what the prosecution would allow. How do we feel about that? Because we get very angry when a bunch of people that are black are incarcerated because we know that everything and everyone in America is racist. But what if black people are legitimately doing bad things and causing harm? What do we got to do something. Let's talk to Al. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
I'm doing good. 2 buzz balls and a shot of Remy to you.
Thank you.
I think for those people who choose to be deplorables or they want to be, doped up or coked up or scream the white man drug cocaine, I think they need a new beginning. Maybe put them up in Oshkosh. Fond du Lac is giving out $9,500. If you move there, you get a new fresh, new beginning. Just don't go there and be a damn bugaboo. Mind your business and do what you got to do. Go down to Fond du Lac. They still might have that strip club, the other place where the girls used to go back in the day. So they just need a new beginning. But what they need to stay here for? That's like sleeping with a person who keep giving you herpes or giving you gonorrhea. No matter much you take that doxaline or you take them 2 shots of penicillin and each booty cheek, you're going to keep on getting sick. So if they keep on reoffending, maybe they need a new place to go. Maybe Milwaukee is not the best for you, okay? And the other thing I want to say to you, we don't have no more good junkies.
Say more about that.
Back in the day, the good junkies are the stable junkies. They go to work, they pay their bills, they mind their business, they get high. See, the junkies we got out here right now, they don't know how to control their high. They don't know how to control their dope. They walk around here acting like a bugaboo. And, some of them have glorified being high and walking around here like a pharmacy department. See, we don't have the good junkies no more. See, we got the junkies that's who's the problem. The ones who always cry after the dope is gone, but they never cry in the beginning or while they're getting high. See, if they was good junkies, we wouldn't have no problem with it because you would get high, you would go pay your bills, you would sit at home and mind your own business. But see, the junkies out here now, they don't know how to control their dope. Prime example, I was at Gallus. The man asked me for $15. I told him, how big is your penis?
Whoa!
He said, I'm not on that. Oh, wait, Mr. Hughes. He said, I'm not on that gay stuff. I said, I'm not either. But if you a grown man and you got a big penis, there's no reason you should be out here begging for money. Because any man who asks another man for money, to me, sounds like they're gay. But if you did what you had to do, and some women like in-house penis, all you had to do was put them nutshells off in the morning, maybe in the evening, and then when she get in her glass, stretch her across the living room floor, and she'll make sure you clean. She might even give you a piece of her check, and you'll have a place to sleep and a toilet to use. But see, you don't want to do what you got to do when it comes to the laws and lessons of life. So you want to beg another man for money. This is 2026. No man with a penis that's fully functional should be asking another man for money, nor be penis, or be homeless. Like my stepdaddy used to say, if you don't know how to use your penis, eat a little cat, and you'll be all right. Y'all have yourself a good day and be safe this weekend. Strap it up and never swallow. And also pee after you ejaculate. Bye-bye.
All right. That was a lot there.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just going to take a commercial break.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, we're going to pretend that he didn't say 98% of that. No, that actually didn't happen. So that last phone call, I didn't take any phone calls from Al today. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I'm Chris Jackamick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is, my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jackamick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
'Cause remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The latest findings show Milwaukee County Circuit Court judges are issuing more lenient sentences than what prosecutors recommend 52% of the time, versus 72% when this organization, started studying these sentences in November of 2024. So for this era that we are experiencing right now in the city of Milwaukee, which is a pretty marked increase in violent crime, there's going to be some arrest and conviction statistics that, when we analyze them in a few years, are going to look very, very racist, because that is something that is always very glowing and glaring to African-American activists, especially those that are trying to put their finger on the pulse of institutional racism. They're going to say, wow, a whole lot of black people were incarcerated in the year between, 2021 and 2028 or 29. We at the same time want our communities to be safe and want those who are committing these crimes and these bad actors to serve time in jail, at least to give them some time away from the community to think and to quote unquote pay their debt to society. But when those statistics come out and we see a disproportionate number of black people that are going to prison, let's not just call it racist. Because I bet 9 out of 10 people that I talk to, including what we have as a result of the YouTube poll, people think the judges are being too lenient. Well, I don't know why there's this perception that black people are soft on crime. We are not. We're probably harsher on crime than anybody else because we want to feel safe. And we know that in a segregated city, statistically, I'm probably not going to get robbed by a white person. In fact, if a white person tried to rob me, I would rob them back. Give me all your money, Sherwin. Give me all your money. Oh, I'm sorry. Here you go. Do you accept American Express? Let's talk to. Could you imagine that? Going to rob somebody and then they rob you? David from Milwaukee. You're on.
Sherwin. Doing good on this Friday.
Good.
So check this out, right? So I specifically know that some of these judges, right? Because check this out. My girlfriend's daughter got robbed like a couple years ago, right? She got armed robbed. And dude, so like they did the sentencing, right? When they did a little sentencing thing, it was over Zoom, right? So I was ear hustling. I was here. My girlfriend was here. She had her little thing connected, and her daughter was at home. She did, or whatever. So I was just in the background ear hustling, right? So when it got to the sentencing, it was a white lady judge too. I don't even remember her name, but she said like when she sentenced dude, she gave him like she gave him 7. She gave him 7 in, I think like 5 out or whatever. But then she said I heard it out of her mouth too. She said that he was a perfect candidate for boot camp. She wishes that she could put him in boot camp, but she legally and statutorily can't do that. She didn't say like right away, but she said at some point he would be a perfect candidate for boot camp. And I know like he had armed robbery, which is a violent case, but here's the thing, y'all. A lot of people got to keep in mind, no matter what you go to prison for, most people got drug and alcohol issues, or they have issues that date back to like family stuff and all that other type of stuff. In both of those individuals, whether you got a nonviolent or violent case, both of them individuals need the same type of stuff. So when they get out, they don't mess up no more. You know what I mean? Like both of them people don't have different type of needs. You know what I'm saying? That lady said that out of her mouth. But so my point is, some of these judges, I don't know why they want to or whatever. It doesn't even really matter how people feel about it, but I'm just letting you know, some of them are down for that now. Because these jails and prisons are overstuffed. And I know some people are like, lock them up, lock them up, lock them up, lock them up. For those people, where are you putting everybody? That's my thing. Where are you putting everybody?
So are you saying the person that robbed your, I guess I call her your stepdaughter, were they a drug addict? And did they rob her to get money for their habit?
Yeah, they were just rolling around, just sticking people up. You know what I'm saying? They said he robbed, like he was on a spree, like days. And then how he got popped was he went and tried to use her debit card. No, he took her phone and he tried to go sell it at a store. Good. Like that was a dummy move. He tried to sell it. You know what I'm saying? So that's how he got popped. He tried using her charge card stuff.
Not that you would have the answer to this, but I wonder why that person, who obviously didn't have a history of drug abuse, was eligible or would have been recommended for boot camp as opposed to someone who would rob and steal because of their drug offense. But David, I got to go because I got to take a commercial break. That was interesting. Boot camp. What does boot camp do? Just make you have to march and make your bed? And
maybe it's a simulation of the military thing that you like.
Yeah, I do think that more people need the discipline, but I don't want the military to be a dumping ground for criminals that we can't put in jails because the jails are overcrowded. Why don't we figure all this out during hour 3 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes? Will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
I walk on the shoulders of giants who have come before me. I am ASAP and Maya Angelou. I am Marva Collins and Frederick Douglass.
From A to Z, I celebrate, emulate, and commemorate their example.
This is part of the Declaration of Excellence Milwaukee College Prep Scholars recite, not just during Black History Month, but each and every morning, because our students don't just honor history, they're determined to shape it. Enroll your scholar at MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com.
You can't buy a best friend. You can love them, walk them, pet them, and care for them, whether they want you to or not. You can take a picture or 50. You can fly to the moon, travel the world, or just stay in bed. You can't buy a best friend like that, but you can adopt one. There are millions of pets waiting for a best friend just like you. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
Talking about guns with others might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Here's a way to start a conversation. Your family is going over to your neighbor's home for dinner for the first time. How would you ask if there are any unlocked guns in the home?
Hey, we're so excited for tonight. Before we come over, though, may I ask if there are any unlocked guns in your home?
Our guns are stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access.
Awesome.
Learn how to have the conversation at agreetoagree.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Wherever there's a need in our communities, there's a United Way. Improving lives so everyone can thrive. Where more people can gain access to health care and nutritious food for their tables. Where more community members can benefit from financial education and get connected to local resources for housing support. And where children are given more chances to reach their full potential. Community is where we find our strength and where we share our hope. United is the way. Visit unitedway.org.
Are people around me safe when I vape? Science does not support that belief. Exhaled vape emissions linger in the air, affecting indoor air quality and bystanders in the same space through secondhand exposure. Vaping emissions can also accumulate on clothes, hair, dust, and furniture, leading to exposure risks to bystanders of all ages. And vaping around a pregnant person can lead to serious health impacts on fetal and childhood development. Enough with the puff. Learn more at ul.org/vaping.
You're listening to Milwaukee Black Talk on 101.7 FM.
The Truth.
And 1510 AM. W269DL. Milwaukee. A Milwaukee Black media company.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Some of the smartest dummies can't read the language of Egyptian mummies. And a flag go a moon and can't find food for the starving tummies. Pay no mind to the youths, cause it's not like the future depends on it. We'll save the animals in the zoo, cause the chimpanzee them a make big money.
Welcome to hour 3 of The Truth with me, Sherwin Hughes. Don't forget to join us tonight at 7 o'clock. I'm going to call it an after-hours version of this program on the Hughes Views 414 podcast, exclusively on YouTube, where you can hear, a digest of what happened during the week. And if you miss parts of this show, we'll go over some of the most notable moments, I suppose, of this program and other stuff that took place maybe even after I get off air. And I would say it's a place where you can go where you can hear Al uncensored, but you don't need to listen to my podcast to hear Al uncensored, because shoo-wee. What am I talking about? Al didn't call today. He didn't call. We didn't take his call today. You know what, when you think about it? Another man asking another man for money Maybe it is gay. Right? No, I don't know. I never look at it that way. Because I know that what the hell would be my problem? I'll be asking another man for money. Oh, Sherwin, if you ask another man for money, you're gay. I am not. So then should I just ask women for money? I have a question for the ladies, but I don't want to get in trouble.
Ask away.
I knew you would say that. All right. Let me check this YouTube poll. Can we do another YouTube poll? This is very uncharacteristic for us to put up an amended YouTube poll. Thank you, Curly. Exactly. What call? We didn't hear from Al today. Al called the morning show. You didn't call my show today. We didn't hear from him. So our current YouTube poll, are judges too lenient on reckless driving cases? 94% of you say yes. Okay, good. We've established that. Now this poll, fellas, don't vote in this. This is only for the ladies. And the poll is, what's more important? Ladies only. I'm going to dictate this to you, Xavier. Question is, to the ladies, what's more important? Your money or your body? What is the highest priority for you, ladies? Your money that you have, the money that you make, your income, your savings, whatever, or your actual physical body? And I know there's a whole bunch of other choices you can make, but I'm only giving you two. I'm just trying to see something. Fellas, don't taint my poll. Please be respectful and just let the ladies answer. So when I report back on the results in a little while, I'm going to let the poll, I'm going to let it brew. I'm going to let it cook. I'm going to let it stew. I'm going to give it a little while because there's people that are joining the YouTube chat coming and going. I want enough ladies to answer. Remember, this is only for the ladies. And X, can you note that somewhere in the poll, ladies only? Fellas, I just want to see something. What do women prioritize when only given those two choices? And I know that they can prioritize family and their children and a whole bunch of other things. But if given the choices, ladies, what is more important to you? Your body, like your physical body that you're in, that you live in, the body you put clothes on, the body that you bathe, the body that you sometimes display in your scantily clad outfit, your body, your temple, or your money. If you had to prioritize, which one is more important? Okay. I see Bob just called, and Bob has since hung up. Bob, if you call back, I have a question for you because I want to see if we learned anything from yesterday or if Bob is still supporting Jackie McCluckin for governor. So our new poll, what's more important to you? Women only, your body, or your money? And it's not some trick question. I'm not trying to do a gotcha moment. I'm just trying to see if, when given these two options, where do you put your priority? Is all I'm trying to see, ladies. All right. Got another one here for you. So let that poll, let it circulate, let it cook. I'm gonna come back to it in a minute, and we'll talk about that in a little while. So I know that there is a lot of hatred, animosity, and opposition to AI data centers, and I know that they represent something. They represent the end of civilization, the end of society. We're all going to lose our jobs. We're all going to be slaves to AI. They're going to come in and replace the American worker. And that is, I don't know, potentially a worst case scenario, but I think it's also a really good way to drum up fear and anxiety, because drumming up fear and anxiety, here's the thing, it doesn't even matter if the fear and the anxiety is legitimate. People feel it and they're worried and they're paranoid. Am I going to have a future? Am I going to be able to retire? Is AI going to take my job before I have enough Social Security stored up so I can live a decent lifestyle in my sunset years? All of that makes sense to me. And if you can politically organize around something that causes fear, because both ends do it, the left does it and the right does it. I would argue that the right does it a little bit better because they can use the anxieties and fears around diversity to organize politically, and that's why the Republican Party has become what it's become. Can I just do a little side note right here? And I've been withholding this information because I don't know how you all are going to react to it. I see it as potentially optimistic news that both Marjorie Taylor Greene and Tucker Carlson have left and denounced the Republican Party. I think this doesn't mean that they're going to be Democrats, because we don't want them now. We don't want their sentiments. But the rejection of this Republican Party from two people that were loyalists, I think that's a good thing, because the incarnation of the Republican Party that we see right now, it actually needs to fall. That's number one. Number two, if I get another text message or request or invitation to a fundraiser for these black people that are running as Republicans in the city of Milwaukee, I'm going to put your asses on blast. Stop it. Stop reaching out to me, because you know what the Republicans are doing? They're trying to get as many votes for Tom Tiffany as possible, and they're trying to lower the vote share that some African Americans would give to Democrats by running black people in majority Democratic districts, because there are some black people, believe it or not, that don't like the Democratic Party at all. And if they're given an alternative that's a Republican, they'll vote for it, especially if it's a black Republican. Now, let's be clear. No black Republican is going to win in any of these legislative districts in Milwaukee in which they are running. But if they get 10, 15, or 20, or 30,000 votes, that's 10, 15, or 20, or 30,000 votes that Tom Tiffany may get, or the Democratic nominee may not. And so for some reason, they have this, and the Republicans have been doing this for years. That's why they put their field office on King Drive in North, because they have concerted plans. Every time there is a statewide partisan election, they find black people to run as Republicans to try and subdue the votes that Democrats would get, and also get a handful more votes for their Republican candidate that otherwise probably wouldn't receive those votes. But for some reason, I made it on their list. Let's talk to Bob. Hello, Bob. How are you today?
Hello, Sherwin. You know, Sherwin, you went from what a woman should eat, look like, to, and then all the way to Tucker Carlson. Oh, man.
Bob,
a woman should...
Bob, hold on. When did I talk about what a woman When did I talk about what a woman should look like?
Yeah, how she looked. And so I thought it was woman you wanted to talk to.
So why did you call then?
Where you switched from Tucker Carlson, and then, but what I had to say, you're actually mimicking a thief, because you did not pay for them 2 things of water. I don't care if it's new people buying it. I don't care about excuses. Just bring some money in there and say, hey, I know I bought the water from here.
Bob, we need somebody to come check on you. I send somebody to come see if you're okay. You all right? Everything going all right?
Do you know a person that steals a candy bar, they run out and chase him, he goes to jail, it's $100 to get out of bond. You didn't have to pay nothing. That water costs more. I will feel funny, because you're mimicking a thief. Right. You're not a thief. You're not a thief, but you're mimicking a thief in that issue. So go and get a man, the 2 cases of water money. And just, get that off my chest. And a woman should look nice. Concentrate on her health.
I asked what a woman finds more important, her body or her money. What does that have anything to do with how she looks? I'm asking women to prioritize those 2 things. What is most important to her actual physical body, not how it looks, just her body, the temple that she is in, or her money. That's what I'm trying to figure out. You made it about
her body.
That's number one. And Bob, you're wrong. Let me say something. Let me say how you're wrong, Bob. I am a thief. I am. I'm a thief. Listen to me now. I'll snatch your life. I'll steal your life. I'll snatch it out your body. I'll snatch it right out.
You can't justify. You cannot justify them 2 cases of water. Go pay that man. So what? He knew.
I hope I see.
And you just said, hey.
I hope I run. I hope I catch you on the street. It's gonna be on site.
You ain't a thief. You're not a thief, but you're mimicking a thief.
I snatch your life.
And it's a shame, King. Pay for that 2 cases of water. It's gonna bother me, man.
Tell you what,
I'll see you later.
You know what? No, don't. You ain't hanging up on me. Sit down.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll pay for them bottles of water with your money. Because next time I see you, that wallet is mine. I'm snatching your wallet. And give me your car.
Yeah, I give you the money to pay for that water.
Give me the money then.
Sherwin, you need to pay for them 2 cases of water. And then the man would say, oh, what a nice man. Oh, you're so admirable. But instead, you want to justify you keeping them 2 cases of water and the money. You know, Sherwin, I'm surprised at you.
Yeah, I got
You're
one.
mimicking
I got
thief.
something for you. I am a thief.
And
Wait till the next time I see
you're not
you.
a thief.
Hey, Bob, guess
You're
what?
not a thief.
Hey, Bob, we're doing a real special event. I want to give you an invitation. Yeah, I want you to come and show up at this event that we're doing. Yeah, come by yourself.
No,
too.
I don't trust you, Sherwin.
What
no
you mean
more.
you don't?
I do not trust you.
How about this? How about we bring the event to your house? What's your address, Bob? I want to come pay you a little visit. I need to see you. I ain't seen you in a while.
Sherwin, what is wrong with you today? You are on a roll, man.
Bob,
Give me a break. Can I talk to you later, sir?
No, I'm not done yet.
Is that possible?
Who are you voting for governor?
That's what I want you to tell me, Sherwin. That's what I want, who you're voting for, so I can vote for him, Sherwin. That is an honor to vote for a person, you know, and I trust your judgment.
But no, you trust the thief? Oh, but a minute ago I'm a thief. Now all of a sudden you trust the judgment of a thief. Bob, can you name a single candidate running for governor? Bob, can you name anyone who has ever been governor? Can you name any governor of Wisconsin? Bob, this is very serious. Name one person that's ever been governor.
Sherwin, I can't even remember the person you said yesterday. Don't you know I'm getting old?
Who is
Sherwin?
the governor now?
I'm getting up there.
Who's the governor of Wisconsin right now?
That little old white man. He's pretty good. That little old white man. He's pretty good.
That's funny. You calling somebody little. You don't weigh but 70 pounds. What's his name? You don't know what his name is?
What is wrong with you today, Sherwin? You are messing with me, boy.
Hold on, stop talking. Can you name any person that's ever been governor of Wisconsin? Can you name any governor? Ever?
Thompson.
Oh, there you go. Okay, fair enough. Tommy Thompson.
All right, Sherwin. Now, you're going to let me talk to you later.
No, I had enough. I'm going to hang up on you now.
It's only so much you can handle, huh?
I think I'm playing with Bob. Bob think it's sweet. Wait till I see him. It's on site. And here's the thing. Y'all better hope that I don't catch Bob at like a Milwaukee night market. You better hope I don't catch him at a little festival. You hope I don't catch him at Juneteenth. You better hope I don't catch Bob at Bastille Days because I'm shutting the whole festival down because I'm getting that ass. Pause.
He can walk around by himself?
Yeah, he can walk around by himself. Not fast.
Okay.
Okay.
I thought he had to have a handler or something.
See, now I get it. When some of them folks say, man, when I see you, it's on site. That's exact. Me and Bob have a beef. We are officially beefing. Okay? And if you on his side, then I'm beefing with you too. I asked this man to name any person that's been governor. The only one he can name is a damn Republican. Boy! Good God almighty. All right, let's take a look at the poll here. So, X, I can't see the results of the poll unless I vote in it, and I'm not going to vote in it because I'm not a woman.
Well, I can answer the question for you.
Okay, what do we got?
What's more important to you?
Women only.
Your body, your money. 93% say their body is more important than their money. And we are at 14 votes so far.
Huh. Interesting. Okay. Well, ladies, keep it up. Fellas, don't answer in this poll because I think that that's probably legitimate. The 93% of the women that have voted in this poll would prioritize their body over their money. I'm not laughing at that. There's a reason why I'm asking this question, but I want a few more people to participate. If you are not subscribed to the 1017 The Truth YouTube channel, well, I would certainly encourage you to do so. And if you're a woman in particular, I would love for you to search 1017 The Truth on YouTube, hit subscribe. You'll be able to not only view the in-studio cameras of our broadcast, you'll be able to participate in the ever lively and effervescent YouTube chat, but also vote in our very, very important scientific poll for the ladies only. What's more important to you, your body, or your money. So far, 93% prioritize their body over their money. I'm going to take a break, come back, continue our little casual chit-chat conversation. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Are you looking for a place to shop that offers a fair market price? Or how about a place that is clean with a friendly atmosphere, has been recently remodeled? You need to visit Century Food Store on 92nd and Lisbon Avenue. They offer a wide variety of grocery items, meats, and fresh vegetables at a fair market price. And don't forget the hot food section, which offers soul food, Indian, and Mexican foods. So what you waiting for? You can also order groceries through DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Instacart, or stop by Century Foods at 92nd and Lisbon Avenue today.
In Milwaukee County, equity means making sure everyone has a real chance to thrive. That's why the Milwaukee County Office of Equity works to help remove barriers, strengthen community connections, and support fair access to opportunities across Milwaukee County. Want to learn what they do, explore resources, or find ways to get involved? Just search Milwaukee County Office of Equity online. Milwaukee County Office of Equity, advancing equity for all Milwaukee County residents. For more information, search Milwaukee County Office of Equity online.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Don't act like that. Don't wear that. Don't think that. I've heard everything you tell yourself every time you felt different. And I want you to know that you can be vulnerable and powerful. That taking care of your mind is taking care of everyone you love and who loves you. Love your mind. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
For parents, choosing the right school is one of the most important decisions you will make. At Milwaukee College Prep, they don't take that responsibility lightly. At Milwaukee College Prep, your child is more than a student. They're a young person that they get to know by name, by strengths, and by the areas in which they need the most support. Together as a family and a school, they will work every single day to help them grow, and learn, and build the confidence to reach their full potential. Milwaukee College Prep would love to meet you and your child to share more about how you all can work together. Don't wait. Seats are limited. Apply today at MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com. That's MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com, or call 414-264-6000, 414-264-6000. We got a poll going on. Want to know what the ladies prioritize. It seems to be pretty overwhelming that when asked the question of what you prioritize, ladies, your money or your body. Now, I can't see the percentages because on my end, I actually have to cast a vote in the poll to be able to see the percentages. And I'm not going to violate the rules of the poll by voting on behalf of women because, well, I would never do that. I would never vote on behalf of a woman. That would be a terrible patriarchal thing to do. Xavier, have we had any major... Well, we only had one more vote since we last checked.
Yeah, it's only been one more vote. Still sitting at 93%.
Still 93%. So it's going to be pretty overwhelming. It's safe to say, and I can generalize this It's interesting, though, the handful of women that said that they prioritize their money over their body. There is a reason why I am asking this question. I'll get to that reason in a little while. But first, can we talk about love and marriage and relationships? And I say that because June is the month in which most people say I do. I don't know what it is about June. Maybe it's the longer days, the shorter nights, and the warmer weather, and the activities that we can participate in. Summer, summer is a very optimistic time, especially here in the upper Midwest, where we really cherish these warm weather days. We have all of the different events and different festivals, and you can enjoy the out of doors, and a lot of people are going on vacation. June is the month for lovers and gays and Juneteenth and fathers. A lot is going on in June, but June is the month in which a lot of people propose and say I do. This one comes from theroots.com, and this gives a little bit of advice to the fellas. Fellas, I know you love this woman so very much and you want to be with her for the rest of your life. Oh, I know you love her and you think about her all the time, and you text her during the day. Hello, beautiful, I'm thinking about you. Oh, are you a little sad? Let me cash app you $150 because I love you so very much. And you might plan little dates with her, and you take her out to dinner. And sometimes you might go out and have a couple of drinks and have a good time. And then she gets very drunk and she falls off the bar stool, and you got to pick her up. But it's perfectly fine because you love her and you help her when she needs help. If she's struggling, that means we are struggling. You know what I mean, fellas? When you're really, really in love with this woman and you're thinking about it, you're thinking about popping the question because you just can't imagine your life without her. She completes you, fella. You were nothing without her. Now you're everything with her, and you can't ever imagine your life without her. In fact, you see this woman in all of your days. It really is a beautiful thing, and the love is honest, and it's pure, and you want to be with her forever. Now, you've got some decisions to make because this is a pretty significant commitment. You're going to have to figure out some things about family and, of course, about children. Where on earth are you going to live? Are you going to live with her? Is she going to live with you? Assuming you don't live together already, are you going to buy a house? You got a lot of stuff to think about. And as you were thinking about all of these things, well, you have to propose to her, right? Well, obviously, she has to say yes, but you need to get her an engagement ring. The bigger, the better, the more beautiful, the more brilliant, the more spectacular. Isn't that, to some degree, I know this probably isn't fair, isn't that a reflection of your love for her? The bigger, the more beautiful, the more brilliant and sparkly that ring is, because it doesn't just show her how much you love her, it shows the whole world. Because I'll be honest with you right now. If I'm out here in these streets, lurking and creeping and prowling, and I see a woman who I deem attractive, certainly attractive enough to at least introduce myself to. Hi, I'm Sherwin Hughes, the radio host. But if I see she got a big old fat, gigantic, monster-sized, shiny, sparkly, glistening, clear, beautiful diamond ring on her finger, that's actually intimidating. In fact, that ring, to me now, is more intimidating than the woman herself. And also, I want to dispel a myth. I don't think that men are intimidated by women, and women that feel that, you just don't look approachable. I don't think that we're afraid of you. But I'm intimidated by a big old ring because I'm thinking to myself, I'll never spend that kind of money on you. And I may leave her alone. It almost acts as a shield, does it not? And I think that some men may internalize that. Like, oh, I'm going to buy my woman this big old diamond ring, and it's going to keep all the men away, and it's going to show everybody in the world how much I love her. And the most important thing, it's going to make all of her single friends jealous. From theroot.com, June is a month when people they love to say rather, I do. So it's as good a time as any to have the conversation that is long overdue. Black men all over the country are going into debt buying engagement rings. Time to tell the truth and shame the devil. Spending anywhere near 3 months' salary on an engagement ring is not just unwise. This author says it's actually stupid. This, quote, tradition is not some ancient custom passed down through generations. It's actually marketing. In the 1930s, the De Beers Diamond Company launched an advertising campaign that convinced women that the size of a diamond reflected the man's size of his love. By the 1980s, the company doubled down by recommending that a man spend 2 months' salary. That then became 3 months, and people accepted it as if it were gospel. 3 months' salary? Think about what that means. A man making $30,000 a year is supposed to spend $7,500 on a ring. If he earns $60,000, that price jumps to $15,000. That's enough money to put a down payment down on a home. Instead, it goes toward a piece of jewelry that depreciates the minute you put that ring on her finger. And let's say you don't spend that much. You do what you think is the smart thing and spend a modest $5,000, the average cost of an engagement ring. That's still too damn much. Little word of advice for the fellas. In Wisconsin, so us and only 10 other states have this very specific law. If you propose to a woman and you give her a very expensive diamond ring, but you don't end up getting married, legally she cannot keep the ring. Okay? You got to know this now because they're going to try to keep it. And so for whatever reason, if you don't get married, you get the ring back because the marriage in the state of Wisconsin and 10 other states the ring is conditional upon the marriage. But here's the loophole. Do not propose on a day and on a date in which the ring could also be considered a gift. Do not propose on her birthday. Do not propose on Christmas. Do not propose on an anniversary. Don't do it. Propose on an arbitrary date, because if you propose to her and give her that ring on any date that could be considered a gift, she gets to keep the ring. And I'm not saying that your relationship is going to end. I'm not saying any of that, but sometimes things don't work out. And isn't it best to know that the marriage won't work out before you actually get married instead of going through with it and then having to deal with a divorce? Just a little word of advice. But also, I think that this author is onto something. Why would you go into that kind of debt? Like, once I see these numbers written in front of me here, a man that makes $60,000 a year, which is, I mean, you're not rich making $60,000 a year. But looking at 3 months' salary as the benchmark for what you should spend on an engagement ring, $15,000, that is absolute insanity. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a break, come back, talk to Tony on the other side, because I'm sure he has some sage advice as well. And also, ladies only, if you go to YouTube, 1017 The Truth on YouTube more specifically, hit subscribe. You'll be able to vote in our YouTube poll in which I'm asking ladies only, this question. What is more important to you when given these two choices, ladies? Your body or your money? Which one do you prioritize? The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Reading aloud to children sharpens their listening skills, expands their vocabularies, and nurtures a lifelong love of reading. That's why Reading is Fundamental, the nation's leading children's literacy nonprofit, offers free monthly read-alouds by popular authors through its Rally to Read program. Visit rallytoread.org to watch the read-alouds and discover exciting reading activities for school and home. Visit rallytoread.org today.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
When I met both of them, it was like my missing pieces were found. Like, it was just like an instant, these are my kids. If you're considering adopting a teen, just do it. Kids need families. I don't care the age, everybody deserves a family.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Doctors Without Borders is delivering life-saving medical care where it's needed most in communities around the world. From bandaging war-wounded patients in Sudan to providing clean drinking water in Haiti, we're in more than 70 countries worldwide, bringing patients from sick to recovering, from emergency to aid, from crisis to care. This life-saving care is made possible by a global movement of supporters like you. Thank you.
Mommy, can I sit in the front seat just this one time? Please, please, please.
No, not yet.
But why?
Because I love you, and you're just not ready yet. Now, get in the back so I can get you in your car seat, please.
Putting your kids in the right seat for their age and size is an act of love. Check that your kids are in the right seat at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Love protects. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
American Family Insurance is a proud sponsor of The Truth. For almost 100 years, they have been committed to helping families protect what matters most: your home, your vehicle, and the dreams you're building every single day. And if you're part of the Truth audience, you already know that your hard work is for you. That's why having the right protection in place matters. American Family helps you stay ready for whatever life brings so you can focus on moving forward. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly with American Family Insurance. Get a quote or find an agent at amfam.com. That is amfam.com. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin. Let's talk to Tony. What's going on, Tony? How are you?
How you doing?
I'm doing good. What's on your mind?
First of all, shout out to whoever was playing Damian Marley and Nas. My favorite cut, Patience. Very well done with that. Well done.
Thank you. You're welcome. That's me.
That Damian's my boy. That's my boy. Hands down. My favorite Marley next to Bob. All right. I have a question. Who do you think is the least favorable person in the Democratic Party to win the election against Tiffany? The least amount of chance.
Probably Francesca Hong, because she's extreme.
Okay, now what's to stop the Republicans that they've done before notoriously to have all their supporters vote for her, knowing that Tom Tiffany already got the nomination, just to put her up as the front runner? What's to stop them from doing that?
Nothing, but also Mandela. Actually, you know what? Mandela might be, because he has proven that he can't win against a weak Republican in a statewide election. So they very well will. Some Republicans, because there's not a real Republican primary for governor. Tom Tiffany is the dude, and I think he's the only one that's going to be on the ballot. So Republican voters don't have to vote for Tom Tiffany in August, but they can vote for the least likely Democrat to beat him. So you're right. They can vote for anybody they want to.
Yep, they've done it before. All right, that's all I want. Hope for the best. That's all I want, bud.
All right, thanks.
Thanks anyway. Thanks.
All right, have a good day, weekend, night. So I just found something in the studio, and I don't know. So we have these shelves, and I don't know what compelled me to look at these shelves. But I think this book is mine, actually. I think somebody sent me this. Wait a minute. It's called the Bullwhip Days. The slaves remember in oral history. What do you mean? What do you mean a bullwhip days? And did they steal this from the library? It's got dust on it. Yo, this is a library book. What is this? It's got bookmarks in it. So somebody gave me a book about slavery. I know damn well that this ain't. It's got a Bible verse. Okay, I don't know what the hell this is. But then guess what else I found? Some handcuffs. Why is it handcuffs in the studio?
You freaky, man.
Oh, wait a minute. These are mine, actually.
Point exactly.
Damn it. Dr. Ken, I don't know why I brought handcuffs. They're like fake handcuffs. They're not fake, but you can't. There's no key. You just push a little button to unlock them. So this was probably a couple years ago. Do you guys remember when Dr. Ken busted in the studio while I was on air and handcuffed me? Get your mind out of the gutter. It wasn't freaky. But the stuff you find in here, I got a book about slavery, and then how fitting, right? You got handcuffs and then
Yeah. You're the real big freaky.
That's your nickname. And then what is this right here? This is the rooster dude. You know the dude that be having the chicken that wears pants. You see this? He's got a QR code on it. And it says 46 Sanders, because that's the name of the chicken. That chicken has been in this studio before. Who brought the chicken in here? One of our shows was it Tori? I'm putting all this stuff back.
That's a current chicken place?
No, this is somebody's pet chicken. Oh,
a pet chicken.
Who is this? Tony Smith. Oh, this is Tony Smith's basketball card. This ain't worth anything. Well, look, it clearly ain't worth nothing. Zach just gave it to me. I guess I could get it autographed. Shout out to Tony Smith. Where did you get this from? You just found it randomly? Tony Smith, our former colleague here at 1017 The Truth, has a basketball card that clearly is worth nothing. I mean, I can get an autograph it, I guess. Shout out to Tony Smith. All right. Check the poll here. Probably hasn't moved very much. It's safe to say that most women, and when given the choice, what do you prioritize, your body or your money? Have we had any major movement in the poll, Xavier? Because I don't want to vote in order to see the vote.
So we're at 25 votes now, right?
Okay.
And the poll has shifted to 84% women want, they
prioritize
their bodies, and 16% at their money.
I find this very unusual, and let me give you my rationale for asking this particular question for the ladies only. 84% is still an overwhelming percentage of women that prioritize their body over their money. But then my question is this. If you prioritize your body over your money, how many men have you given money to versus how many men you've given your body to? You have probably given your body to way more men than you have ever given a single dollar. That is why I am so curious about this question. Now, ladies, don't get offended, but I'm just trying to illustrate the juxtaposition here. If you prioritize your money, let me be clear, your body over your money, why have you given your body to more people, more men than you have given your money? I'm just curious, and maybe the caller has an answer. The caller, you're on 1017 The Truth.
Hey, man, I thank you for more comedy. And every time you delve into this realm, it is hilarious. And so I always enjoy these. Usually these shows are on Monday, but I'm glad it came on Friday this time. The question was very general, and I knew it was a loaded question for the ladies because I don't believe it's as gender specific because I have sons and daughters. Because if we're talking about giving of your body, both parties, there is a certain number of risks that you face. So, the risk of disease, unwanted pregnancy are for both parties. So when you speak of giving, and if you're good at it, like the call that didn't actually really happen. Well, speaking of, if you're good at it, you're doing more giving than the person who than the woman. But what I was thinking, because the reason I said it's a very general question, like your vocal cords, for example, are a part of your body. You make most of your money using your vocal cords. If you're a fitness instructor and your body don't work, you can't make any more money. If you're a stripper, you definitely can't make any more money if it were gender specific. So that's my feeling on that part of it. And,
Can we look at the alternatives
God rest Mr. Samuels for that type of thought.
Let's stay on topic for a second. Can you also look at the alternative of what happens if you give away all of your money? If you are broke, you are going to jail. You are going to die. You won't be able to afford health care. You won't be able to eat. You will be unhoused. You will be homeless. And you will be a pariah on society. You will be stuck on public benefits, on welfare. So both have pretty significant risks when you think about it. Keeping and guarding and prioritizing your money might actually get you a little bit further along in life. Now, we know that there's risks associated with them both, but if you don't prioritize your money, you will have a life that is not worthy of living.
They are both very important. That's the best thing that you said. So you have to do both, because if you don't take care of your health, you can't make any more money, which will put you in all those other situations. But when it comes to this ring thing, I think you would probably agree that giving stocks or bonds in that amount would be a greater show of love, because that would be the gift that would keep on giving. Would you agree?
I totally would agree, but try to propose to a woman with stocks or a mutual fund.
I'm just saying, and the reason I said that is because Melania Trump probably has a rock that's big as Roland Martin's head, as you like to say. I'm not saying that, and we know this man don't have the capacity to love. So the size of the ring, was something that jewelers came up with, like you said. And I know a person who works in the diamond industry. You don't know a regular person, if you're not a gemologist, whether you bought a cubic zirconia for $15,000 or not. And like you said, just like fancy cars, they depreciate as soon as you buy them, so they're worth absolutely nothing. And I'm glad in Wisconsin.
Men should buy women cubic zirconias and save money?
No, I'm not. I'm saying that a lot of them probably are and don't know it, because you don't have the knowledge. Just a regular person, you don't have the knowledge of what a diamond is or what it should be or what it should look like.
You ever heard of a diamond tester? You think women don't get their diamonds tested? They get them. I would get my diamond tested with my own diamond tester, because I wouldn't even trust the jewelry store.
And with the corruption that is in that industry and many other industries that take up a lot of the working public's money, I'm quite sure that there is a lot of skullduggery within that. So,
all right.
I'm just saying, and when it was dug out of the ground, it was worth probably absolutely nothing before it was processed and that. Now, gold, on the other hand, if you were to buy her a gold bar, for example, it would be a gift that would keep on giving. Not that anybody's going to do that, but yeah, I think you're right in saying that, it really got ridiculous when they start saying spend months of your salary on a trinket. Kind of like, it reminds me of Jalen Brunson, to help the New York Knicks win this championship, passed on $113 million, and people said that was a good idea, which was ridiculous. I don't know, would you leave that type of money on the table if you were eligible for it with a billionaire, Sherwin?
Depends on what it comes with. No amount of money is worth sacrificing your pride.
To win a trophy. No, I'm saying just to win a trophy, because that's what he ant.
So he got $113 million, or he rejected $113 million?
He rejected $113 million and took a smaller amount, and it was so that they could sign some of his college teammates to the team.
Oh, that's
actually... Would you go get some of the dudes from Brown Deer to win a trophy?
Yes.
Say you were playing football. You would pass on $100 million?
Yes, because I'm not selfish like that. I would rather share the championship with my people, because once you get over a certain amount of money, it's not even about the dollars anymore, because you bought everything you need to buy. Like, that's a very
Mhm.
selfless thing to do, which I think is foreign to a lot of people, obviously including yourself. Because if you have a certain amount
Mhm.
of money, why do you want to be alone in that? I would rather have an
I-
ample amount of
can I
money,
answer?
$40 million, and then also be able to bring a championship to people that you have known and trusted your entire life. For me, that's a no-brainer. But I got
Can
to
I-
take another telephone call, and I got to take a break. The caller be calling. He be thinking it's his show. This is also a man that married his wife. She divorced him. I think they got married again and divorced again. So it's whatever. I'm going to take a break, come back, talk to the town on the other side. But before I do that, the median black household brings in about $54,000 a year, while the median black household with student loan debt owes about $26,000. And that's before you get to credit cards, car notes, and rent. It is not feasible for an African-American man to spend 3 months of his salary on an engagement ring. And if he makes a median modest $60,000 a year, he is now expected to spend $15,000 on an engagement ring, considering all of the other things he's got to pay for, like rent and credit card bills and student loan debt. It just isn't worth it. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
For 250 years, our armed forces have bravely served America. Wounded Warrior Project honors that legacy by supporting post-9/11 service members and veterans like Anthony, a Marine who was injured by a roadside bomb in Afghanistan.
They carried me through my injuries, not just my physical, but my mental. And seeing other vets doing the same thing helped me tell myself, hey, you can do this.
Join us in honoring warriors at woundedwarriorproject.org/America.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're my diamond girl.
The town. You're on 1017 Truth.
How you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. This is what I want to talk about, the health versus wealth. Oh, but before, bro, bogus. I mean, of course, he don't see the previous caller. He don't see what everything that Jalen Brunson is going to get now. It's going to be way with all the endorsements and basically the key to New York City and with all them plugs and all that networking and stuff like that. That's way more than that $100 million extension.
Amen.
Way more. And plus he gets to go back to the stove, meaning he gets to go back and renegotiate when that short contract is over. It's about getting as many contracts as you can from the NBA, because we already know it's a short shelf life relatively to other sports, in the NBA.
That's true.
Now let's talk about this money and body. You can always get money.
Think so?
You can yes.
How can you get money?
Because you can get money in a myriad of ways. But number one though is because of learning. So that means every day, bro, you got another chance to get it right. So even the dummy can level up. You follow me? That makes sense?
I think the dummy has opportunities every day to level up, but a true dummy don't recognize opportunity. But I see the point you're trying to make.
And plus because it's like this, like life is like a crap game, you know, and you can't buy the dice back. You know what I'm saying? So if on the health side, if it's over, it's over. You know, that's why us people in the world that are able-bodied and walking around and they can jump and they can do it and can do all them things that we don't look down, but we look like, dang, to people who can't, or invalids or convalescents.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? We look at them people and we like, dang, man, that's messed up. Guy can't even walk, man. He can't, you know, his junk don't work or any other problem that's physical. More than likely, you're not coming back from that, my guy. You're not coming back from that, as opposed to the broke person or the dumb person. The broke person can be a millionaire because he's still in the game. You know what I'm saying? The dumb person can be a scholar because it's another day for him to be like, okay, dummy, read a book. Health over wealth all the time, bro. That's my time. Peace.
All right, thank you for that. All right, then. I think as a man, prioritizing your money in the long view of life makes you more suitable. It makes you more attractive. It gives you a better lifestyle because men are, unfortunately, what we can earn and what we can do and provide for someone else. On the flip side, because we did a poll and we asked women and women only, what do you prioritize, your money or your body? And the overwhelming majority of women said they prioritize their body because when you think about it, their bodies can help them get money too. It can help them land a very wealthy man who might be into her because of her physical beauty and her looks. And think about what the oldest profession is in the book. Think about it. Don't think too hard because it's that obvious of an answer. So that makes sense to me. But then when I did a little bit of a switcheroo, if women, of course, prioritize their bodies over their money, which they probably should, have they prioritized their bodies in the number of men they have given their bodies to versus prioritizing their money? It's just a very interesting kind of concept to think about. But a woman's body can be the gateway to her money, just like a man's money is absolutely the gateway to getting a woman's body. Well, it makes sense to me, at least.
Are you worried about body count?
In a woman?
Yes.
Oh, God, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Of course.
The more experience, the better.
I don't see it like that. It eventually takes away her ability to love and bond with one man. Like, is it my business? No, it is not. I don't. But if I'm going to like seriously consider her, because so Milwaukee is a small town, and one thing that I don't want is I don't want to be with a woman that I'm loving and cherishing and giving my whole life to, but everywhere I go, she sees another man that she knows or another man that she dated. And also a lock that can get opened by many keys, it's not a very good lock. But the master key that can open many locks is a great thing to have.
You worry about the Eskimo cousins.
We all should be.
Yeah, I guess.
A lock that can be opened by any key is not a very good lock. But if you have a key that opens many locks, that is the master key to have. If I give you a glass of water, and this is the only glass of water you are ever going to have for the rest of your life, this single solitary glass of water has got to quench your thirst forever. You are committed to this glass of water. And when the glass of water is empty, obviously, then you are no more. Let's just say that she is this glass of water. Do you want a glass of water in which many fingers have dipped their fingers into, many hands have dipped their fingers into? Or do you want a glass of water that has had almost no finger? Because remember, you got to drink from this glass for the rest of your life. Tell me what glass of water you would choose. Thank you guys for listening. The lunch break is up next.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
When a warrior faces adversity,